team at some point in the season gets a little worn down and could use a break, albeit not by injury. But I don't think it's going to hurt him that way. So, yes, Guy.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in this, too. I'm a yes guy on this, too. I think this can actually turn into a positive. The timing is just right. I think he's going to have, if he gets back against Tampa, he'll have 8 games with which to prepare for the postseason. I think that's more than enough time to shake off the cobwebs, get the timing back, obviously presuming that the injury is in his rearview mirror, which we all assume it will be at this point. I would really be surprised if the Leafs brought him back too early. They've been very careful with this for a very good reason. They, in fact, they dialed him back at one point. They had him skating at one point. They said, maybe we shouldn't be skating him right now, and they gave him a few more days off there. I thought that was a smart move, a conservative move. There was no reason to be aggressive with this injury, and I do think it will be a positive for Mitch Marner, who's going to need gas in the tank, and will have it because of this injury.
Yes, Guy, no guy. Coach Keefe has all the tools he needs.
Yes, Guy. I agree with you. We've questioned the depth of this team. We've talked about it, but the depth keeps showing up. As you pointed out at the top of the show, the 5-1 win over Washington was a great case in point, with Bertuzzi getting a couple, with McMahon contributing, with Connor Dewar showing up on the score sheet. They've got depth. They've been decimated by injuries on the blue line, and yet these 6 guys that are going to play tonight, Lyubushkin, Brody, Timmins, Gio, McCabe, Benoit, that's a fine 6. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that 6. And it's not your ideal 6, obviously, without Morgan Riley, without Joel Edmondson, without Timothy Liljegren, but it's a 6 that you can go with. It's a 6 that I think you can win with, especially against the Buffalo Sabres. So I do think there's everything you need. You got the option of 3 different goaltenders. You've got some forward depth to play with as well. It's a pretty well-rounded team, on top of the fact that you've got your 4 best guys. Let's say 3 of your 4 best guys. Let's not include the captain here. We know that John Tavares hasn't been at his best this season, but the other 3 guys are having awfully good seasons. Matthews en route to his second career 60-goal season. Willie Nylander having a career year. What more could a coach ask for than what Sheldon Keefe has been given this season?
Totally agree. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Let's go with yes guy, no guy. Simone Benoit will now be the 4th the 4th defenseman under contract for next season and beyond, Jim. You got Riley, McCabe, Timmins, and Benoit now after he signed that 3-year extension at $1.35 million annual average value. We have 4 UFAs heading into the offseason. We'll have Joel Edmondson, Mark Giordano, Ilya Lyubushkin, and TJ Brody. And we're just talking exclusively about the blue line here, Jim. Yes guy, no guy. Of those 4 UFAs, you have a preference over who they should prioritize in attempting to re-sign.
Yes, I do. It would be Edmondson. I just think that he brings an element that Jake Muzzin used to bring on a nightly basis. We haven't seen him much, but I like what he does back there. He would be the guy that I would try to lock up, although having said that, I think he's going to walk into about $4 million plus somewhere in a 4 or 5 year deal, so I don't know what fits here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Edmondson would be not my number 1 in a dream scenario. Obviously, as you point out, it may not be a plausible financial scenario. It may not be possible. My 1A would be Ilya Lyubushkin, who provides similar thrust and heft on the blue line. Has some familiarity playing with Morgan Riley. We all know that, and I think could serve something of the same role. Obviously, not the same big body as Edmondson, although he's not small, obviously not the same Stanley Cup credentials, but obviously a guy that would come cheaper, and which may be important and is always important in the salary cap era.
Okay, let's squeeze one more in. Yes guy, no guy. Holmberg is your number 3 center.
Well, yes guy, I guess he is. Yes guy, he is. Right now he is. And I'm not sure that's a great thing, but you can deal with it. You can make it work. It's not your perfect scenario in game 1 of the playoffs. I think ideally he may be a more suited to a 4th line role, but and hey, he may be more suited to playing elsewhere in the lineup. But as it sits right now, he's your guy. And look, he's done a fine job. And you can quibble with who you'd rather have in that slot, but Holmberg's done okay.
He has. I'm going to say that I'm actually going to answer my own yes guy, no guy, and say no guy, not as we start the playoffs, but he could turn out to be. He's getting a nice long audition there. I just don't know where they're going to put Domi when Marner comes back, and to me it's sort of a plan B. But if you have to use plan B, it's already established that it works. Would you agree with that?
That's actually a great way to look at it. Yeah, no, you're right. It does come down to how Sheldon Keefe views Max Domi. In a lot of ways. That's really the case here. And so, we've seen a lot of different deployments this year. And on every level, I saw that, nobody has used more combinations of defensemen than the Maple Leafs this season in the NHL. And I would hasten to guess that very few coaches have moved around their forward lines with the frequency and creativity that Sheldon Keefe has done so. So it will come down to how he views the way Domi should be used when Marner returns to that top unit alongside Austin Matthews, and that in a lot of ways will determine what happens to Pontus Holmberg into the playoffs.
If you want to exploit something on Buffalo, it's their power play. It fires at 16.1%. Not very effective. We'll set up the opening faceoff for you next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
For juicy turkey, head to Farm Boy. Premium Farm Boy fresh turkey from the Hayter Farm in Dashwood, Ontario is grain-fed for unbeatable taste. Because it's fresh, there's no moisture robbing thine, so your turkey is guaranteed naturally moist and tender. For delicious Easter ham, pick up a fully cooked Farm Boy bone-in Ontario ham, slow smoked over real hardwood in Dundas, Ontario, for succulent texture and distinctively sweet flavor. When quality counts, count on Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
Will I need a new air conditioner this summer? Predicting record-breaking heat?
You might not know the best time to get a new air conditioner, but we do. Right now, with the Reliance Home Comfort Trade-In event, you can get $1,100 in credit towards your new AC when you trade in your old one. That's right, $1,100. So if you want to beat the summer rush and save big,
call on Reliance.
Conditions apply. See website for details.
Good morning. Baby, it's a brand new day.
Experience a different tomorrow with Norwegian Cruise Line. Book today and get 50% off your cruise to Alaska, Europe, and beyond. Plus, everyone can enjoy their vacation with free unlimited open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
The rest of my life gonna start today.
Well, it's not a full lineup, but somehow it's been effective. The Leafs many times this year have risen to the occasion when one of their stars is out. Thursday night against Washington, no Riley or Marner, and a 5-1 win. Secondary scoring is delivering. Tyler Bertuzzi in the tough spots finds the back of the net twice. And now the test comes from the Sabres in Buffalo on a Saturday night. Oh, no. What happens here? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on a Saturday night. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschek from the Toronto Star with you. Joe Bone and Jimmy Rouse standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. Here's the Leafs lineup. Matthews centering Domi and Bertuzzi. Tavares between Nylander and McMahon. Holmberg between Robertson and Nyes. Camp centering Reeves and Dewar. On the blue line, Briley, Labushkin, McKay, Benoit, Gio, and Timmins are the pairings, and Sammy starts in goal. Pretty well what we had Thursday night, except for a different goaltender. What do you make of all that, Dave?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's the Maple Leafs weathering the storm without Mitch Marner, without, as we talked about, the phalanx of defensemen that they're without tonight, including number one guy Morgan Rielly. And they're going to have something they don't usually have on the road, Jim. They're going to have a majority of Leaf fans in the building, according to our pal Mike Harrington, who did the jersey count walking down the street to the arena. Figured it was about 80 to 90% Leaf jerseys walking into the rink tonight. So I don't know if that's a good thing, Jim, because Maple Leafs have been better on the road than at home this season. And if this feels more like a home game, maybe that's not a good thing. But it is a road game. They've been really good on the road. Let's stick with that and, go with the idea that, hey, a little bit of noise in their favor on top of the fact that they've been very good weathering this injury crisis, I think bodes well for the Maple Leafs.
So the Leafs looking for consistency. Obviously, last Saturday, a big win over Edmonton, then a bit of a struggle in Carolina, then a regretful performance against New Jersey on home ice in a 6-3 loss, and then a rebound with a 5-1 win over Washington. Here's Coach Keefe and what he's stressing to his team.
Just continuing the same mindset. That's really what it's about. As we showed the other night, we didn't practice after the Jersey game. We had a discussion as a team. You show some clips, and you go out. It's a different mindset. And you show the team knows how to play and knows what we need to do. And so it's just about having that same type of mindset. Now the opponent tonight is probably more like New Jersey and less like Washington. So that in itself creates different challenges in terms of their skill set, their ability to play in transition, the pace that they can bring from the defense, all those kind of things. So we're going to be challenged in different ways than we were the other night. So we're going to have to be that much more focused on it, and then be good on offense ourselves, but make sure we're managing the puck really well. Play in the offensive zone and make it harder on their top people and force them to defend.
Is there anything you stress to your team when you're catching the opposition on the second half of a back-to-back?
No, I didn't even bring that up today. I mean, especially when it's back-to-back where you're staying at home and you're not having to travel. I don't think that's much of a factor at all. We're just focused on our game here for the most part.
So given that the previous visit here was such a one-off for you guys, is there any reference to it at all for you?
I referenced it yesterday, just as, it's just something that, I mean, that's a long time ago. A lot has changed since then, but it's a reminder of what this opponent's capable of, the type of skill that they have. When you don't play an organized game, then you open up the possibility for something like that to happen. So it's just a reminder of that, and I don't think we need to go too far into it. It's more so the New Jersey example to me in terms of the chances we gave up and the type of game that we played there. We didn't. We gave up free offense. Those kind of games there. This team, this team thrives. I mean, you look at it like there's, whether it's New Jersey or Buffalo or Columbus, like these kind of teams that we've played, that there's a ton of skill on these teams. Some of the best offensive teams in the NHL in terms of playmaking, controlled entries, rush play, like all these sorts of things. Like these teams that are trying to find their way into the playoffs. You look at them as maybe teams that you should be able to win against. Well, these guys make it really hard on you if you don't play with detail and structure and discipline in your game. So that's really what it's about for us, and that's what's required to win no matter who you're playing against in the NHL consistently. And certainly down this last stretch, and we're going to move into April and looking to secure a playoff spot and hoping to play in the playoffs. That's exactly the mindset that's required.
Do you see any long-term potential in the line of Holmberg, Nice, Robertson?
Well, there's three young guys that are, we think could hope will be in the organization a long time. So they're gonna continue to build and grow. And what comes out of what comes out of these situations when you've got guys injured is you try different things, you work at different things, and we've seen lots of positives in it. It's three players that are all kind of trying to find their way in the league, but as they get more comfortable, I think there's great possibilities there, but the skill sets match well, and we've liked what we've seen from it, and like I said, there are three young guys that'll continue to grow, and who knows what the future holds and looks like, but when we get healthy, I don't see it as a trio.
What have you seen from Bobby since he's played higher up in the lineup, and how the chemistry might be coming along with him, John, and William there?
Yeah, I've liked it a lot. I think it's important for Bobby to continue to stay doing the things that he's been doing. Drive and play with his speed, keeping the defense honest, backing them off, winning pucks back, first line mates, doing a job defensively, all those kind of things, being responsible F3 when it's his turn to do that. So all that sort of stuff, the detail of his game, we need him to just stay on top of that. And, he's been having a ton of success offensively, but he's doing lots of little things well, too. We just got to make sure that those details don't slip.
It's Rifai's call-up just to have an extra body on the trip here?
Yeah, exactly. We're down to 6 defense, and the way things have been going, it's important to have an additional guy. So he'll be in warm-up tonight.
What's clicked for the penalty kill, do you feel like, the last little bit here?
We've put a lot of time in it, a lot of time on it. It's necessary to do so, obviously. And the guys that just bought in, I think we've made some adjustments to it, and the guys have responded really well despite a lack of practice time and such. But the early returns have been good, but it's a small sample at this point. We want to continue to build on it.
Coach Keefe getting set for the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo tonight. Dave, I don't know why I did this, but as he was talking, I veered off into two developing stories on the Leafs roster that, when we go back to training camp, the start of the season, really didn't make a dent, and that's Benoit and Bobby McMahon. These two guys are really good finds for the organization and really ease a situation where you're trying to find people to plug into certain parts.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there's been really important to find these guys and to fill these voids because, it wasn't an easy trade deadline to find the players that the Maple Leafs might have needed otherwise. Imagine if they didn't have Bobby McMahon's production. Imagine if they didn't have Simone Benoit to, sort of rely on the back end. Those are big holes to fill. Bobby McMahon's got 14 goals. Simone Benoit's turned into a guy that you can play, reliable minutes, who provides that physical presence, who's been, very low maintenance, very, I would say, mistake averse, which is important for this team that's been known to make its share of big mistakes that lead to big chances for the team coming the other way. So, yeah, huge for the Maple Leafs. And obviously in a year where, Nick Robertson has struggled at times and been up and down in terms of being on the roster, off the roster, in the rotation, not in the lineup, has talked about how he's not happy about it. Hey, Bobby McMahon shows you that it's not about, being gifted anything. It's about taking something. It's about, seizing the moment. It's about, hey, on a day when you were going to be a healthy scratch, you get a hat trick, and suddenly you change the trajectory of your career. It's not about necessarily how the team's treating you. It's about how you are treating the opportunities you are given. And Bobby McMahon's a great example of that. Simone Benoit as well. Two great stories, two undrafted guys, two guys who, as you point out, were completely off the radar when the season began and are now big parts of the Maple Leafs as they push toward the playoffs.
When you look at the 9 guys on that blue line, assuming they're all healthy, I mean, that blue line is in much better shape than I could have predicted. And actually, I think it's better than the one last year at this time. Would you agree with that?
Well, we'll find out, right? They got to be better than the one that did it last year. You're going to have to win a playoff series. You're going to have to show that you can get over a hump here. But I tend to agree with you right now. I think right now, as you look at it, I mean, I think, you miss Luke Schenn, but you've replaced Luke Schenn with Joel Edmondson. And I think that presence, is probably comparable with the pedigree, the Stanley Cup, Bonafides, the size, the willingness to engage, the nasty streak. Both those guys have that. So Edmondson is a good replacement for Schenn, obviously. And I think you're right. Like, The arrival of Benoit, who they didn't have last year, is a good thing. The return of Lyubushkin, a very good thing. You've still got TJ Brody. Although Brody, you can make a case that Brody is not having as good a year as he did last year. Maybe that's debatable. You got Jake McCabe again, so yeah, you can make the case that they are better. They're certainly deeper, and that's important. I think the depth piece, given the injury lottery that can occur during the playoffs, you're never quite sure who's going to be available day to day. To have the 9, I think, is a real luxury for Sheldon Keefe, and is a real comfort for Leaf fans to know that, hey, if somebody goes down, there's another guy to come.
The opening faceoff is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get overlooked.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
The general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon.
Vegas so quickly has become a place where players want to go.
Players appreciate that we're trying to win, and I think we've come to expect it. It's their livelihood and all of those things that go with it. So we try to do what we can to help that happen.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Join me, Gord Stellar, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Avenge a horrific trip into Buffalo back in December, with a lot of Leaf fans in attendance. As we're ready to go, and the puck is dropped, and we are underway. Sabres in their dark jerseys defending the goal to our left, where Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is starting in goal, and it is Ilya Samsonov starting in goal for the Maple Leafs as it's down into the Leaf zone, and it is pushed ahead, and McCabe breaks it out at center. Onto the left wing for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi rolls it into the slot area, and almost getting to it on the backhand there was Matthews. Bertuzzi crumples his man into the corner. Puck comes around to the left wing side. Benoit couldn't reach it, and the Sabres will get it out into the center ice area. A pass for Tuck. Alex Tuck dropping it back, and the pass comes off a leg back to the point. Owen Power keeping it in. Power right on the blue line, now to the top of the circle and shooting, and he set it high over top of the goal. Sabres keeping the puck in. Bertuzzi couldn't get it away there from Rasmus Dahlin. Back to the point, kept in by Thompson. Thompson, who had 4 goals yesterday in the win. Out there, and the Leafs having difficulty getting out of their own end, and finally Domi skates it to center and is just going to loft it in. Leafs will change. The Tavares line over the boards. A rink-wide pass coming through center is broken up by the Maple Leafs at the blue line, but then shot into the Toronto zone. And on the near wing, it is Brody getting it to his defense partner. Lyubushkin got it up on the wing, but it was cut off. Out around back of the net to the near corner. Brody arrives there first and is able to punch it out at center ice. Now brought in by Bobby McMahon. On the wing, a shot, and off the shoulder of Lukin, and it goes into the corner. Brought back by Dylan Cousins. Good pace here to start. Cousins trying to drive the net, and denying that was the play of Lyubushkin. I think the Sabre fans are chanting Luke for Luukkonen, and the Leaf fans for Lou for Lyubushkin. Brought out at center ice now by the Sabres. And it's going to be backhanded in, but it's a delayed offside, which will allow the Leafs time and space. Mark Giordano sending it into the near corner for Nyes. Nyes got it ahead and is able to punch it out at center ice. Peyton Krebs goes back. Sabres try to work it up on the right wing boards, and it's brought in by Jeff Skinner. Skinner had it knocked away, played by Giordano, back out at center ice. Connor Clifton trying to get it ahead, and they do. Greenway got across the line, ran into Giordano. Puck comes free, though. Here's Skinner with a shot. Good blocking arm save made there by Samsonov. And the Leafs come away with the puck, and it is pushed ahead for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg sends it down into the corner. Barges down in there along the boards. Carried it around the back of the net to get it onto the wing. Pinching in is Benoit. Simon Benoit along the boards. Played it around back of the net. Dewar couldn't get to it. Then it comes out in front. A weak shot taken there by Camp. Was pushed aside by Luukkonen. Camp back to the goal with it. Still with it. Works to the near half boards. Back to the point. Long shot by Benoit. Didn't make it through. Kept in by McCabe, though. Round back of the net. Reeves to Camp. Good shift here by the fourth line. Al Reeves back to the point again. Another shot this time by Brody. And unable to deflect it there was Camp. Cleared on the boards, but not out. Good play made there by the Leafs at the blue line. Kept alive by Brody and set around back of the goal. Camp trying to find a man out in front. Camp still with it, and it's finally taken away by the Sabres. And it'll be Yost just stretching things out as both teams are going to take the opportunity to change. But the Leaf fans appreciative of that fourth line's effort.
And Connor Dewar had his first as a Leaf last time out against the Washington Capitals.
Play it around back of the net into the near corner. Brody in the Leaf zone. Has it tied up underneath him. It's pushed ahead and then grabbed off by the Leafs and launched out at center, but it's going to be quickly shot back into the Toronto zone. Out of the reach of Brody, but onto the stick of Tuck. He got it into the slot area for Thompson. Out-muscled there by Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi finds Matthews, and Matthews is away. Left wing side for Domi. Into the slot area, and the pass went off a Buffalo player and didn't connect with Bertuzzi. Thompson brings it right back in again. A drop pass and a shot deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Comes around back of the net for Owen Power. Power getting it back to Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin unable to keep it in, and it's out at center ice. Dahlin is the only defenseman in the NHL leading his team in scoring. And the Sabres have never had that happen in the history of their franchise. They've had Phil Housley finish second 3 times. Here's a chance for Tavares, who scores! Willie Nylander spots Tavares in the slot, and the Leaf captain makes no mistake.
Nylander, the right-handed shot coming down the left wing side. Finds John Tavares in the high slot. The Sabres were all backing in on their goaltender. And Tavares, lifting up high, unloads this. And this is Dahlin, was one of the Sabre defensemen, Joe, that had backed up and was stationary, actually standing still at the hash marks when Tavares let this go. And for John Tavares, that is now 12 goals and 24 points in his last 25 games.
451st goal of his career, scored in his 1,100th game in the National Hockey League.
Well, we should remember that Austin Matthews opened the scoring when the Leafs lost 9-3 in Buffalo back in
Now
December.
there you go, bringing up bad memories. Played that, of course, in this building.
I was going to say, you want the good ones from Buffalo?
How about the 14 goals scored against Darryl Sittler and the Leafs back in the...
That was Bunny LaRocque, I believe.
No, I think it was Yuri Sira, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you may be right, but I thought it was Sira.
Grant Fuhr had a tough night in Buffalo, too, didn't he?
Yeah, well, a lot of people have had tough nights in Buffalo.
No, but I mean an 11-12
Yes,
goal.
yep. At any rate, the Leafs have a 1-0 lead on a goal by John Tavares.
The Buffalo Sabres are really, if there is a chance for Buffalo, they're probably going to have to win out. They're, the big win against New Jersey last night. 1 back of the Devils, 2 back of the Islanders, now 5 back of Detroit, 6 back of that 8th and final wild card spot.
And Detroit got a point today, right?
Yep. And when you look at Buffalo's schedule, they've got Washington twice, Philadelphia and Detroit once. And those are all key games, so they can help themselves.
How'd they get a pass onto the left wing side, and a shot was blocked. Big pad save made by Samsonov. On the doorstep, Victor Olofsson.
Boy, he had to react quickly.
Did he ever? Now, Lyubushkin getting it ahead, but it's knocked back into the corner. Olofsson back to the point. Near side now for Yost over on the far side. Jokiharju getting it back again to the near side. Olofsson a shot, and a pad save made there by Samsonov. The Leafs don't clear, and now Nyes finally does get it airmailed to center, but that's a high stick making contact, and it'll be touched by Bowen Byram.
And Bowen Byram for a moment thought, I'm not going to touch it, and then realized, wait, the puck's right in front of my own net. So the Leafs will get the offensive zone face-off, but what a save by Ilya Samsonov. Stops the first one, the rebound pops to his left and kicks out the left pad.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Experience the excitement of the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments on Sirius XM and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The 1 seed to the brink and holds on.
Search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage of all the games.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Plus pre- and post-game shows and get analysis on basketball and beyond with Coach K. Get radio channels for your games at SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
John Tavares' 24th goal of the season has the Maple Leafs out in front by a 1-0 count. And the Leafs get a turnover as Camp plays it down into the corner for Dewar. Reeves arrives on the scene. Now Camp got there just a tad bit late to try and send a shot to the net. And the Sabres get it back out at center ice, and there's a whistle. Something going on behind the scene that I can't see. Dewar is
arguing. Looks like the Leafs are going to be shorthanded here.
And Dewar's getting a holding penalty. All right.
What? Oh, wow. All right, better to run him right into the glass then, right? That's kind of what he did, was put his hand out and sort of glided Connor Clift into the boards, but that was enough to earn the 2 minutes, and the Sabres with an opportunity here to even things up early.
Penalty kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. And off the face-off, it is shot down the ice by the Leafs.
Buffalo power play, by the way, 27th overall in the 32-team league, 0 for 12 in their last 6. Did not have a power play last night against New Jersey.
And across the line on the right wing side for Tuck. Played around the boards back of the net. Greenway got it freed up. Here's a chance for Thompson, a shot. And he whistled that one wide, and it's going to carry him all the way to center ice. Peterka getting it back for Tuck. And then he had to get back on side as the Sabres do get it into the zone. A drop pass to the blue line. One-timer from the right wing side from Thompson was stopped by Samsonov. Back to the blue line. Near side again now on the wing for Dahlin. Gets it into the slot. Greenway couldn't shoot it. Neither could Thompson. Thompson holds back on the near side for Dahlin. Dahlin walks to the middle of the ice. Dishes off on the right wing side for Peterka. Back to Dahlin. Looking for Thompson at the far half boards, but it comes back to the defenseman. They play catch with it. Thompson with it again. Thompson trying to play it off. Got it off a stick. Is cleared into the corner, but knocked back to the near point. Kept in by the Sabres. Long shot. Deflects wide of the goal. Thompson in the far corner. Back to Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin on a one-timer on the near side, and Peterka had it blocked, and the Leafs are going to get it out and down the ice. 36 seconds left to go in the power play. Both teams are changing. Good play by Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah, you might want to keep an eye on Peterka. He's on a 4-game goal streak. 5 goals in that stretch.
And across the line, the Sabres get it into the zone. Played it into the corner. Twisting with it is Bowen Byram. Byram gets it back to the point. Near side now for Quinn. It comes back into the slot, and it's going to roll out at center ice, and Byram will have to go back for it. He and Power exchanging the puck. 5 seconds left in the power play. Here's Bowen Byram in over the line. A drop pass then for Quinn. He drops it off for Skinner. Skinner goes wide, back of the net, ran into a traffic jam, and Giordano got to it first, but then couldn't control the puck as it comes off on the wing. A loose puck rolling in front, cleared over the glass.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's, well, the one official is saying that it hit.
I'm just going by Connor Dewar's reaction, and that looked like a guilty player.
He still looks guilty, and he seems to be heading in that direction.
Well, the Sabres will be going to their second straight power play. A tough position to be in. You're facing your own goaltender, and the puck is about a foot away from him. But instead of just rifling it low,
he got a little too much on it.
Off the glass, and that's going to cost the Leafs.
So Dewar gets his second penalty. And the Leafs have to kill off another power play. And the penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
And if you're the Sabres, you got to score on this.
Draw to the left in the Toronto zone is chipped into the corner. Grabbed off by McCabe, but doesn't clear. Kept in at the point there by Peterka. Now Thompson back to Dahlin. Back to the Thompson into the corner. Tried to chip it in front. The Leafs got a piece of it and just to get it out. It'll force Peterka back into his own zone. And he'll start out with it at center with speed to the Leaf blue line. Dropping it for Tuck. Went off his skate. And the Leafs send it down the ice. Matthews was breaking, and if they'd have just waited a half a tick, he was gone.
And yet, if it didn't work, we'd be saying, you got to move that.
No, you got to get it out of your zone. You're facing 2 power plays here. At any rate, Matthews into the corner against Thompson. Poked away, it comes in front of the Leaf goal. Good play by Lyubushkin to control it with his skates, but he couldn't clear. Okay, kept in on the near side for Tuck. A shot breaks the stick of Lyubushkin, and the Leafs are going to break it out with one man back. Bobby McMahon working it on the right side, and a good play made there by Rasmus Dahlin. to knock it off his stick as he was cutting for the net. Back come the Sabres in across the line. 48 seconds left in the penalty. Brought back to the blue line. Power on the right wing side. Trying to work in with it is Jack Quinn. Down low, cut off there by Brody. Got it ahead for McMahon, and McMahon's going to do his job to get it out and down the ice. Pontus Holmberg gave chase, but thought better of it. Brought back by Owen Power. Got in on the left wing. Trying to chip it in front. Took a pretty good hit there on the boards as it comes to the blue line. Kept in by Byram. In on the right side. Good check there to knock it away from Jack Quinn. Made there by Brody. Centering pass in front. Knocked down by Samsonov. Another backhand try. Is blocked there by McCabe. Power had a great chance, and McCabe made a great defense right in front of the Leaf goal. And the Leafs have cleared it down and killed off back-to-back penalties.
Boy, another big save by Ilya Samsonov as well. 6-3 shots, Buffalo.
Byram shoots it down into the Toronto zone. Leafs with a 1-0 lead on the captain's goal. And he has the puck now, getting it ahead. Nylander skating through center to the line and in, dropping it off, gets it back again with a shot, and that was deflected wide as Connor Timmins let it go. Timmins gets the additional assist on the Leaf goal. As it's played around the boards in the Toronto zone. Timmins scooping it around to the far side. Benoit won't get there in time initially. Loses his stick, but is able to pin it up against the wall. That gave the Leafs time to get some numbers over there and get it ahead. Now played back into the far corner for the Leaf defense. And Timmins waiting for the rest of his teammates to change. He'll carry it out with a pass ahead that goes off the stick of Domi down into the corner. Byram against the boards, couldn't get away, comes back to the point, kept in by Lyubushkin, chipped along the boards by Bertuzzi. Now Matthews double teamed. Bertuzzi couldn't come up with it, and the Sabres break it out with 8 minutes to go in the first period. The Leafs with a 1-0 advantage. Around back of the Toronto goal, Lyubushkin getting it ahead. Bertuzzi overskated the puck, but Lyubushkin follows up to restore. And now he gives it to Brody, and Brody plays it off the glass out at center ice, and Domi sends to an open wing. Leafs are changing. Puck ahead for Thompson. Left wing side, in over the line, dropping it off now. Trying to work in was Peterka. Shot rings off the goalpost. Comes back to the blue line. Cousins to the far side, and another shot is knocked high, and the net is dislodged.
Ilya Samsonov, I think when he pulled up, ended up getting his shoulder underneath the crossbar and airlifted it, but was able to get the puck at the same time. Ilya Samsonov has been fantastic in the early going.
Just off the glove and then off the post. 1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Ron is a teacher helping bright minds, but this time he needed help. Alpine Credit sent a cosmic superhero with a debt consolidation loan. She conjured a magic book, Debt Consolidation 101. Lesson 1, consolidate debt into one low monthly payment. Lesson 2, nothing. It's a short book. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Do you love deli meat but are careful about your sodium intake? Try new Schneider's Deli Meat with the delicious taste you've come to expect from Schneider's. Now with 25% less sodium than regular deli meats. They're crafted in Canada using only Schneider's premium cuts of meat, and they're an excellent source of protein. Try all 5 new deli meats, including smoked Black Forest ham and herb turkey from Schneider's. Trusted by Canadians for over 130 years. Brand power helping you buy better.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph.
Well, I found it.
You did.
We were talking about the game the Leafs gave up 14 in Buffalo, yep. March 19th, 1981.
Yep.
John Van Boxmeer opened the scoring for the Buffalo Sabres, who took a 1-0 lead into the dressing room after the first period.
So it's a normal game. Things are working well.
But then the 9-goal second period for the Sabres, I believe, put it away. And both Bunny Larocque and Yuri Sera played as Samsonov grabs one on a wrist shot.
No, that's my job. Samsonov grabbed one on a wrist shot from outside face-off in the Leaf zone.
Did you bring any stats?
No.
Well,
you think I'm stupid? That's your job.
That's funny, because from here it looks like you've got statistical data.
Well, I have pages of stuff written down. I just don't know what it means.
I'll remember next time you use it.
Oh, I got a real good one for you. Here's Skinner getting it into the corner. Krebs for the Sabres punches it around the boards. It'll come to the point. Kept in there by Clifton. Down into the corner it goes. Trying to get it back to Clifton, but it was intercepted in the Leafs. Reeves gets it through center. And then Dewar got a little deeper into the Buffalo zone, but the Sabres push it right back through neutral ice, having it intercepted there by Toronto around their blue line, and the Leafs regroup the puck, and Giordano sends it ahead. And did Reeves get a piece of it? Yes. It's down into Buffalo territory. No icing. 6:33 to play here in period number 1. 1-0 Toronto. Through center ice comes Tyson Yost. Played down into the corner. Lyubushkin gets around back of the goal. Got it up on the wing, and the Leafs break it out. Holmberg on the left wing side for Brody. Brody sends it down into the corner. The puck around the boards. Blocked there. The Leafs get a chance to go after it in the corner with Robertson, but the Sabres are able to push it away, and now brought out by Olofsson. He'll shoot it into the Toronto zone. P.J. Brody playing in his 900th career game here tonight. We already mentioned John Tavares in his 1100th game, and he's already celebrated with a goal. Wouldn't it be nice if T.J. got a goal to end a bit of a streak?
What are we up to now? 102, I think?
I think it is. Played out at center ice by Buffalo. Had got it into the neutral zone. Then Nylander got it back in for Tavares. Tavares back at the goal. Nylander in front of shot. Oh, what a save made by Luukkonen off McMahon.
Boy, that was a great release by Bobby McMahon as well. But the puck from low on the left wing circle. Tavares behind the net to Nylander, and right away Nylander just one-touches it back out to the middle of the ice, and Bobby McMahon was robbed by the left shoulder of Luukkonen.
1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio. Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent.
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter-Miami game.
Messi, up, overhand!
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Do you know, on this date, as the Leafs get it in front of the backhand by Matthews was stopped by Luukkonen. Around back of the net, knocked down and tackled, but apparently legally was Bertuzzi. And now Matthews trying to come away with a loose puck as it comes to the blue line. Matthews able to knock it away, but it's poked out at center ice, and the Sabres will work it in on the right wing. Here's Thompson trying to drag it into the corner. Thompson had it knocked away by Matthews, who just came roaring in there and said, "Excuse me, but that little black thing is mine." Thompson right back in, and there's Matthews knocking it off his stick again. Bertuzzi plays to center ice.
That would be a Bob Coley would have said, "Look out, Tage."
Nah, Coley was a Leaf fan. He would never have.
Oh, no, he did the other way around. Well, but I remember Coley doing it, but.
Oh, yeah.
Look out, Daryl.
Look out, Daryl. He's going to get nailed. Played around the boards. The Sabres keep it in at the blue line. Right wing side now for Owen Power. Punched in along the boards. That 14-goal episode wasn't on Hockey Night in Canada, was it? That shot goes wide of the Leaf goal, and Karam's up into the coop. I was just going to say, March 30th, on this day, 2018,
right.
The Toronto, not St. Pat's yet, they were at that time the Arenas, who became the St. Pat's, who became the Maple Leafs, won their first Stanley Cup.
Huh.
And the parade started at the train station in Victoria because they beat the Vancouver Millionaires. Could you not think of a better name for a team in the National Hockey League now than the Millionaires?
Wouldn't they be known as the below league averages?
Well, that'd be their nickname, right? Played down into the zone. So everybody who has always chided us about, oh, yeah, here are the Sabres now getting in over the line. A pass into the slot. Good back checking there by Reeves, and he gets rid of it high to center ice. They're always chiding us about, oh, you've got the parade route all organized and all of that. Well, this one started in Vancouver, and it probably lasted about a week to get them home by steam engine. And I imagine they were well oiled by the time they got here.
Was it a charter?
Well, they probably had their own car. How's that? Sabres back in across the line. Poked off his stick. Set around the boards for Brody. Lyubushkin gets it back to him. And Brody will play it up ahead for Robertson. And Robertson finds open ice for Lyubushkin to track it down. And then it's deflected in off a Leaf stick to Luukkonen. 3 minutes to play in the first period. And a 1-0 Toronto advantage. Which doesn't mean anything because what was the score after the first period in that game in the odd? As we've got a frozen screen. And now we have a blank screen. So we can't tell you what's going on. Oh, there's another. Oh, wait. Oh, now it's back. Okay, now we're back in business. Buffalo getting a penalty on a high stick on Pontus Holmberg. That probably reason why the screen went to black.
Anyway, Leafs power play. We talk about the Sabres power play being 27th. The Leaf power play down to 6th now. And just 4 for 42 in the last 15 games. And one thing you know for sure, when you get to the playoffs, you can't lose the specialty team battle.
No. Down the boards goes Nylander. Nylander curls in the corner. Got it back to the blue line. Lyubushkin, or at least Timmins, getting it back to the point. Now to the near side to Nylander. Nylander being forced, but carries down into the corner. Circles again. Back to the half boards. Top of the circles. Down into the corner it goes for Tavares. Looking for Matthews, but it was deflected away. And now here the Sabres getting it out at center. And a long shoot in by Jordan Greenway. Timmins going back. Minute 28 in the power play. First unit remains out there, and why not? Matthews to the line and in for Tavares. Back in along the boards for Austin Matthews. That's drawing a crowd and needs support. In comes to Bertuzzi to play it around the wall, and Timmins is just going to get there to keep it in. Near side Matthews, back to the point to Nylander. Nylander doesn't shoot it. Hasn't been a shot delivered to the net yet. Now Nylander with it at the top of the circle to Matthews on the right wing side. And a good wrist shot there is taken on the shoulder by Luukkonen.
Just had to be a little delay for Matthews to settle it down before he let it go, but he got a lot on it.
On the right wing side for the Leafs to try to get into the zone. That is broken up. Here's Alex Tuck back in on the right side. And that forces Samsonov to make a save. And a face-off coming in the Toronto end with 41 seconds left to go. But Luukkonen makes a big-time save off of Matthews. Yeah, he just had to set that go off his mask.
Yeah, either right shoulder or mask. And even kind of a fortunate rebound for the Sabres goaltender as well that it didn't end up at a Leaf stick. I like Connor Timmins getting the reps on the power play here. Technically the fourth quarterback of the power play this year, where John Klingberg started there. Morgan Riley for a long stint, which still has my vote going into the playoffs. Then Timothy Liljegren has taken over that spot once, even before Riley.
A turnover by Domi gives a chance here, but it's rolling in on goal. And as it's tipped by Zach Benson, another save had to be made by Ilya Samsonov on a turnover by Domi, trying to bring the power play unit out. He stick handled with it, turned it over. Benson with the chance.
Yeah, Bobby McMahon, a great job to get back and help out his defensive men.
Benson, the 13th overall pick in the 2023 draft for Buffalo.
7-game pointless streak coming in, but he had 2 games before that. Had 5 goals combined.
Leafs,
5 points combined, rather.
Leafs control the face-off. McCabe being pressured here by Benson. Carries to the line, drops it back for Domi. This time he'll get it to center. Max across the line. Got a return pass into the corner from Brody. Puck around back of the net, stolen by the Sabres, punched along the wall, but Brody is able to keep it in. Down low for Domi, a pass into the slot, comes back to the blue line, and it's turned over there by Jake McCabe. 3 Sabres to center as the penalty is over. Near side for Benson, and he couldn't get a shot away, and the Leafs have it now with 35 seconds to go in the period. Here's a long shoot in on goal by Nick Robertson. Leafs are changing. David Camp over the boards for Toronto. Bowen Byron dropping it back. 21 seconds left. Dahlin up on the right side. Played down into Toronto territory. Forced back along the boards by Cowan. Chipped off the glass to center by Toronto. And Camp kicking and gouging as he went.
And we got
a hand pass.
You know, as much as we've talked, and rightfully so, about Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi being much better in the second half than they were in the first half of the season, Ryan Reeves has got to go into that category as well.
I agree.
I think, a lot of people felt, and you and I discussed it, that, you know what, he's
one-dimensional.
Yeah, and he really, and we see he's only played about 3 minutes here in the opening period. He's out here with David Camp now and Connor Dewar. But he's been noticeable, and by noticeable, it could be physical or a great back-checking play.
And the fourth line has been spending a lot more time
the offensive zone
in the other end of the rink. Yeah. You're right.
So they don't get the points or the accolades as much as the goal scorers. But for me, Ryan Reeves, that's exactly, you get him going into the postseason, that's a huge plus.
It is 1-0 Toronto, a goal by John Tavares. And we will step aside for Jim Taddy and Dave Feschuk in our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, feeling good.
Need a dose of sunshine?
Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Or a serotonin boost? I'm gonna soak up the sun. Happy Radio is one of many happy extra channels available on the all-new SiriusXM app. Search Happy Radio to start listening to endless feel-good hits.
The Points with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
on Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
The general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon.
Vegas so quickly has become a place where players want to go.
Players appreciate that we're trying to win, and I think we've come to expect it. It's their livelihood and all of those things that go with it. So we try to do what we can to help that happen.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent!
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter Miami game.
Messi, up, over,
and get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this. They got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
I've had Bill Housley finish second 3 times. Here's a chance for Tavares, who scores! Willie Nylander spots Tavares in the slot, and the Leaf captain makes no mistake.
And the Leafs lead at 1-0 over Buffalo after 20 minutes of play. After 20 is brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschuk from the Toronto Star with you. First of all, the goal was a beaut. And of note, Nylander has 55 helpers so far this season.
And that was a great shot by John Tavares, obviously posting in over the blocker of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, sniping at its finest. But to your point, the whole thing was set up by a great neutral zone rush and zone entry by Willie Nylander, who really engineered that scoring chance for John Tavares. And one of many this year that Willie Nylander's been responsible for.
I liked the Leafs start. I think that the Dewar daily double with the back-to-back penalties sort of leveled the ice, didn't it?
Well, not exactly a way to ingratiate yourself to the coach when you're sort of a bubble player in Connor Dewar, for sure. But yeah, you're right. In a lot of ways, it injected, maybe unexpectedly injected some energy into the Maple Leafs, because a couple of really great penalty kills there from the Maple Leafs back to back to really, completely shut down the Sabres. Some nice goaltending by Ilya Samsonov on the second kill to make a nice save on the Owen Power one-timer as the defenseman pinched in off the point and had a really good scoring chance. But that was really the first power play. There was really only one shot from the Sabres. That was the only real tough, good scoring chance the Sabres had on the second of those 2 power plays. And so very good work by the Toronto penalty kill, which we've maligned, and rightly, this season. They came into this game ranked 25th in the NHL. We talked about how they'd been ranked 29th in the 9 games without Mitch Marner, giving up 8 power play goals against in 27 opportunities. But this is now 6 straight kills, going back 3 games now where they've had 6 straight kills. A small sample size, as Sheldon Keefe pointed out in the pregame, but definitely, a step in the right direction here for the penalty kill, and I think which sort of fueled the Maple Leafs in that period.
Well, another paragraph in the chapter on Maple Leaf versatility with the roster, because Dewar was brought in for the penalty kill, and there he is taking back-to-back penalties, so they had to rely on others. I like what you said about Samsonov. I thought, and there was a great save where he cut over to the left side with a nice pad save, so no concern about what injury he may have had last week. He looked really good, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, that save on Olofsson where he just shut the door with that left pad and a great slide across. You're right. It was a very good save because it stopped the goal. And it was also a very good save because it gave Leaf fans the sense that, hey, whatever was ailing Ilya Samsonov that had Joseph Woll in net for 3 straight games after that tweak or whatever it was about a week ago, exactly a week ago against Edmonton. It's that does not appear to be a factor here because this guy is moving with athleticism and with some great enthusiasm in that net, and he's been a big factor here. He made a nice blocker save out of the gate on Jeff Skinner when Skinner was in somewhat alone early in the game. He doesn't make that save. Maybe we got a different period here, but Samsonov's been solid. The Maple Leaf penalty kill has done its part, and the Tavares-Nylander line has done its part. So a good start all in all in a night where it's Leafs all around with about 80% of the crowd apparently wearing Leaf colors, and the Leafs, I would say, getting about 80% of the best part of that period.
Listening to Bonesy and Ralphie as the period ended, Ralphie brought up the point about Ryan Reeves, and Bonesy agreed, and I think both of us would. And so he played in that period, 312, but was noticeable. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, how would you describe what he's doing? Well, he's finding his role and excelling at it, and the amount of minutes doesn't matter. It's when you're out there, did you find a role and did you make a contribution? And I think that one thing, finding a role, I mean, if we went back to maybe December, there were a number of guys that couldn't find a role. It seems to me they all have.
It's a great point. Hey, there was times this year where we thought Ryan Reeves may not play for the rest of the season. It seemed as though he'd sort of run out of sort of usefulness on this team at times, and yet he's defied that. And to his credit, because look, he can't just be about going out there and being the designated fighter. Although there are times where he is the designated fighter, it can't just be about going out there and being sort of a tough guy, being an enforcer. Although he does that. What he's bringing on a night like tonight is a sustained energy. Like the guy is a great force out there. Obviously, the big body being thrown around is a factor, but he's not just about the big body. The guy knows how to play hockey. He knows how to put himself into good positions. He knows how to get a puck and put it in the right spot to keep the cycle alive, to keep an offensive zone possession alive. And so he's useful for those reasons. And so if you can turn those fourth line shifts, Jim, into positive offensive zone time, that's what a fourth line's role is. Just keep the ice tilted in your favor while you're out there. At the very least, don't lose ground. Ideally, gain some momentum, build some energy. And I think Reeves has been putting on a clinic tonight, albeit in very short minutes, about how to do that.
Yeah, he's done it. Think about Holmberg, and to a larger degree, think about Domi and Bertuzzi, who at the midpoint of the season you wondered what was going on in the emergence of, as we talked about in the pregame show, McMahon and Benoit. Those are, just with those names I've rhymed off there, that's a significant add to this team.
Oh, it's massive. I mean, you're right. It's an absolutely massive. Like, where would they be without all those names? It would be a very, very dismal picture. I mean, without Bobby McMahon being a contributor on a top six role, nobody had that on their bingo card to start this season. Without Simone Benoit being a physical presence on the back end, who's worthy of a 3-year contract extension at $1.35 million a year, we couldn't have seen those things coming. No matter how closely we watch this team, no matter how closely you watch training camp, nobody saw those things coming. And so, yeah, they're welcome factors. And obviously Bertuzzi, with the slow start to the season, the idea that he's suddenly finding his form here, it couldn't come at a better time. And the Maple Leafs can only hope that in the final 10 games here and then into the playoffs, he will deliver on what they expected to get when they signed him to the 1-year deal at $5.5 million.
Dave, thanks very much. Leafs lead at 1-0 over Buffalo after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
You've heard that sound before. A basketball going off the backboard and in. A bank shot. Well, that's actually the sound of a fan winning a Raptors jersey. That's the sound of a fan getting a signed Raptors basketball. And that's a fan scoring tickets to the NBA Finals. With the Tangerine Bank Shot contest, every bank shot the Raptors score this season wins a fan a prize. Enter for a chance to win at tangerine.ca/bankshot. Tangerine, that's forward banking.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, it's a lovely spring day here on the beach. I came here for some solo time, like I do, but I got hungry instantly, so I went to Bob's Boardwalk Bistro when Bob says, sorry, cash only. Luckily for me, I always have a $5 bill stashed in my sandals, so I give it to Bob, and he says, we don't accept foot money here. That's
Thanks,
how he
Harold.
talks. But now
weather
I'm starving,
reports
and I'm
don't
looking
matter
for
when
something
you
to
drive
eat.
a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Today, when it comes to following sports, a basic box score just won't cut it. Get the stats behind the stats with NHL Edge. So you won't just see Makar's time on ice. You'll see where he spent it. You won't just know Matthews scored. You'll know how hard he shot it. And you won't just get OV's shot total. You'll know where he shot it from. Even if they're all from the same place. Know more about every stat, every shift, and every star with NHL Edge.
Hi, Anthony Longo here. At Longo's, we put as much care into our products as you do into family meals. So this Easter, we recommend our AAA boneless strip loin roasts and steaks, naturally aged for at least 21 days, so you're getting the most tender beef around. You'll see why 68 years in the biz makes us Ontario's favorite grocery store. And just in time for Easter, these top-selling AAA roasts and steaks are an unbelievable 30% off. For quality that meets your family standards, trust ours, Longo's.
Will I need a new air conditioner this summer? Predicting record-breaking heat?
You might not know the best time to get a new air conditioner, but we do. Right now, with the Reliance Home Comfort Trade-In event, you can get $1,100 in credit towards your new AC when you trade in your old one. That's right, $1,100. So if you want to beat the summer rush and save big,
Call on Reliance.
Conditions apply. See website for details.
Experience a different tomorrow with Norwegian Cruise Line. Book today and get 50% off your cruise to Alaska, Europe, and beyond. Plus, everyone can enjoy their vacation with free unlimited open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
The rest of my life gonna start today.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Tons of stuff. In the second period, it is the Coyotes and Rangers tied at 3 after 40 minutes of play. Avs 5-4 over the Predators. After 20 minutes of play, Blue Jackets 1-0 over the Penguins. The end of the first, Canes and Canadiens scoreless. Also after 20, Chicago 2-0 over Philadelphia. And the Lightning have a 2-1 lead over the Islanders after the first period. Likewise, Senators and Jets are scoreless. Also in the first period, Bruins 1-0 over Washington. Earlier today, Panthers 3-2 over Detroit in a shootout. It was the Golden Knights 2-1 over the Wild in overtime. Edmonton 6-1 over the Ducks. Later tonight, San Jose and St. Louis, Kings in Calgary, Stars in Seattle against the Kraken. In our game, 1-0 for the Leafs over Buffalo. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent!
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter Miami game.
Messi, up, overhand!
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, yeah, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this. They got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs with a 1-0 lead on a goal by the captain, John Tavares, his 24th from Nylander and Timmins at 4:58. Goal number 451 for John Tavares in his 1,100th career game. And the goaltenders, Ilya Samsonov is 4-1-0 lifetime against the Sabres. 3.46 goals against average. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has never beaten the Leafs. 0-2-1, 4.85 in those games.
Yeah, it was brilliant in Toronto. The Leafs had a 2-1 overtime win. Remember Austin Matthews finishing off a Mitch Marner feed from behind the net. Gave the Leafs the win.
Leafs to the left and the Sabres to the right. We're underway. Puck along the boards, and it is knifed down into the Sabres zone. And turning with it there is Rasmus Dahlin. He'll get it ahead at center. Tag Thompson trying to get across the line. Bertuzzi denied that. Chipped in now by Buffalo into the slot. Nice shot. Blocker save. Good one made there by Samsonov. The Leafs don't get the puck out. Benoit will hustle to it to play it up the boards, but it is blocked there by Alex Tuck. Puck around the boards into the corner. Matthews steering it away. Al looking to play it back to the net for McCabe. He got it up on the wing for Bertuzzi, and Bertuzzi plays it ahead off Matthews. Stick down into Buffalo territory. Luukkonen playing it back along the boards, and it'll come out at center ice for Tuck. Tuck got it ahead for Thompson. Thompson couldn't get into the zone. Dylan Cousins has to go back to organize for Buffalo. Puck in the center ice area. Cousins in across the line. Left wing side for Benson. Then a one-timer was blocked there nicely by Brody. Tavares in against the boards in the Leaf zone. Unable to come up with it cleanly, but then Brody does on the far boards and plays it ahead, and it's out at center ice for Tavares, who couldn't knife it ahead to Nylander, who was waiting patiently for it. Puck back into the Toronto zone, intercepted, and Nylander's away. Right wing side, Nylander in over the line, closing in on goal, going to the backhand. Oh, and he slid it wide of the empty net as he had Luukkonen floundering out in no man's land.
How that opened up for Nylander just to take it to the net off the right wing boards.
Down into the Toronto zone. Sabres lose the puck. Played ahead. Nylander with it again. He's just going to chip it in this time, and he'll go to the bench. I'm betting he takes a look at the tablet on that one. Quinn sends it right back down into the Leaf end. Mark Giordano playing it off the boards as he fanned on it initially. Got it ahead. Robinson couldn't get out for him. And now the pass off a stick. Leafs back in their own zone. Have turned it over a couple of times. Played down in along the boards. Pontus Holmberg couldn't come up with it. Nick Robertson overskates the puck. They still don't get it out. And finally, Nyes does. But he almost missed it. Now here's Robertson and scores! Just like you drew it up at home. Play around with it. Cough it up 8 times in your own end. Break in and score.
You could see Matthew Nyes and Robertson had a conversation in the celebration, and I think it was, we were that close to a minus, as they had all kinds of opportunities to get it out. Kept over skating it, fanning on it, but eventually Matthew Nyes picks it up on the left wing side, takes it about the Buffalo line, and then just feathers one in towards the hash marks. Robertson in behind the Buffalo defense, and in one motion snaps it past Luukkonen.
So, how long does the coaching staff wait for the celebration to die down on the bench before we go over? Now, lads, you know.
I think the lads know.
Oh, good hit there by McCabe. He thunders his man to the boards. Back of the net, Olofsson trying to get it in front. McCabe got it up on the wing. Camp can't get it out. Cleared right back down in along the boards, and then McCabe finally gets it out at center. Here's Reeves down the right wing boards, bursting into the corner. Reeves able to muscle it to the side of the goal. Cleared back down the ice now by Buffalo. And racing after it is Tuck. Tuck comes out from behind the Leaf goal. Still with it. Centering in front of the goal. And it was ripped wide of the net by Thompson. I just think it would be a really interesting, be a fly on the wall behind the bench when the discussion about, you know, that last shift. Here the Sabres in on a 2-on-1 break with a shot. Stopped by Samsonov, and he dives out to clear the puck, and the Leafs get it out at center.
Boy, he's been sharp.
Lyubushkin can't clear. Here's Thompson in, trying to work into the corner, centered in front. Lyubushkin knocked it away, and the Leafs have Matthews under control to get it ahead to Domi. Nice play. He's got Bertuzzi with him. Domi to the net to Bertuzzi, and he shot it just wide, and then Matthews went right by it and missed. Now Matthews again down low in front for Domi, and that was stopped by Luukkonen, and he's going to hold on.
Boy, what a save this is. This looks like an empty netter for Tyler Bertuzzi. And the Leafs on their third straight opportunity. After Ilya Samsonov again bails out the Leafs at one end. The Leafs kept getting the puck back, and Tyler Bertuzzi, or pardon me, Max Domi on the feed from Bertuzzi is absolutely stoned by Luukkonen.
Well, Bertuzzi has an empty net if he hits the net.
Yep.
Just seconds earlier, right?
And Nylander before that.
Yeah. Timmins keeping the puck in at the point. Giordano with a shot that Luukkonen has caught. And he will hold on for a faceoff in the Buffalo zone with 15:38 left to play in the period. Now, the Buffalo Sabres are going to miss the postseason for a 13th time, which is the most in the National Hockey League. The New York Jets have missed 13 times in the National Football League consecutively. The Detroit Tigers 9 and the California Angels 9 in Major League Baseball.
Thank God we had that shortened season in 2012-13 where the Leafs would have been up there as well.
Yep. Well, this is the current droughts that are going on in those respective major leagues.
Imagine baseball would have some of the longest droughts.
Yeah, they haven't had the elongated playoff, right?
Till recently, yeah.
Yeah. Played out into the center ice area. Sabres can't get it into the Leaf end. Leafs regroup it back in their own zone. And McCabe finds Nylander. Nylander sifting back with Zach Benson chasing him. Benson trips Nylander. And the Leafs are going to go to their second power play opportunity of the game. And it is brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
And wouldn't this be a great spot for a power play goal? Tried to get up 3-0, but Willie Nylander, feet moving as he was charging up the left wing boards. Zach Benson does the reach and sweep and takes the feet out from under Nylander.
I think we mentioned that the New York Jets have the longest drought with 13. Yeah.
But you said Buffalo's 13 as well.
No, coming. Yeah, well, they haven't done it yet, but it's a
12 straight, and it'll be 18 of 22 they've missed.
Yeah. Draw one by Toronto. Nylander dropping it off. Timmins, left wing side, got it back again from Tavares. Then a shot deflects off of Bertuzzi in front of the net. He's hunched over a bit. Back to the left wing side for Matthews. He doesn't shoot it. Gives off to Tavares. Tavares circles back towards the blue line. Flips it over on the near wing for Nylander, which was a dangerous pass. Nylander works into the right wing corner. Back to the point to Timmins. Timmins to Tavares. Tavares will shoot it, and that went off the mask of Luukkonen and went wide. Puck in the corner now for Matthews. Matthews trying to get it back to the blue line to Nylander, and it's poked out at center ice, and Matthews has to go back for it. Boy, his stick work at retrieving and stealing pucks is just absolutely amazing. Here's Nylander in on the right side. Got it into the slot area, and it bounced over Bertuzzi's stick. Sabres bringing it back the other way. Working in on the wing is Cousins, and he's shot wide, and Timmins takes his man into the corner, and Nylander starts away at center. Nylander to the line and in. Stops up, got it down deep into the corner for Nyes. Back of the net for Bertuzzi. Back to the blue line for McCabe. To Bertuzzi. Cross ice pass. Nylander a shot. And Luukkonen came across and made another big save. Sabres bring it back into neutral ice. Knocked down at the blue line. Wow.
Well, it's offside. I don't know if a penalty is being called behind the play on Matthew Nyes.
Well, it doesn't look like it. He appeared to be going to the lead bench, but
I'll let you know in a second here. But yeah, Nylander on his off wing gets the one-timer. 38 seconds left here in the Leaf power play.
So Nyes does not get penalized. The crowd was reacting. Maybe they saw the arm go up of the linesman and figured that they're making penalty calls too. 38 seconds to go on the power play. The draw won by Toronto. Robertson, who has extended the Leaf lead to 2-0 here in the second, gets a drop pass. Gave the puck away, and it goes into the corner. Here's Tuck coming out in front of the net, where the shot is blocked. And Robertson having another shift like the last one.
Time to score.
Yeah, here's McMahon rattling it around the boards to the far side. Just kept in nicely there by Domi. Near side for Robertson, but it's intercepted. And it'll be brought to center ice by Power. And Power stops up and now sends a long backhand in off the glove of McMahon, or at least McCabe. And the penalty has expired. These are the things that you love about Nick Robertson in the other end of the rink. But the turnovers and the decisions at times will drive you to drink.
And it'll also drive you to the press box if you're a player when it comes to the playoffs.
Playing around back of the Leaf goal. A long pass then by Brody goes off a stick into Buffalo territory. And Byram is there to play it up ahead at center. Drop back. It comes all the way back, and now hustling in there after it is Connor Dewar. Dewar will send it back in deep and now get a change started for Toronto. And the Go Leaf Go chant echoing through KeyBank Center. In across the line come the Sabres. Broken up there nicely by Giordano. Veteran defenseman banking it ahead. Nyes was tripped up. No call. Gets it back into the slot. Giordano! And he ripped it off the shoulder of Luukkonen.
Boy, the Leafs have really outchanced the Sabres here. I know a couple of power plays, but they seem to be creating a ton off the rush.
Here's Timmins. Coming through neutral ice to the line and in. Weaves to the right wing side. Pulls the brakes on. Now looks to send it back at the net. Didn't get much on it. And the Sabres, Clifton cuts it off and gets it ahead on the right wing. And it's out at center ice, forcing Nylander back into his own zone. He protects the puck well in the hits of the head. Here's McCabe working in on the right side on his backhand. Pulls up. Backhands again. Back of the net. Cut off there by Jacob Bryson. Bryson against the boards, runs into traffic. Part of it is Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi gets it in front, and Matthews had a glorious chance, but didn't make contact with the puck. Flipped down into the Toronto end. McCabe going back. Goes D to D with it. Benoit on the wing for Domi. Up ahead for Matthews. Benoit follows up to help out by punching it down deep into the zone. Max Domi with it along the boards, protects well, back to the blue line. And Matthews turned the puck over and then hooked the Buffalo player. And Austin Matthews is going to take a penalty here, which was probably a good penalty to take after the turnover. But not very often does he go to the penalty box.
Yeah, it got up into the hands just a bit, although I think Matthews is trying to say it was stick on stick. But either way, now the Buffalo Sabres, we talk about specialty teams, have a great chance to get back into this game.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sandra and Kabir are celebrating 50 years of marriage by turning their boring bedroom into a spicy one. Oh my. Alpine Credits sent a super strength hero to help with a home renovation loan. New floors, windows, a heart-shaped button that plays this tune. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Let's get jerseys. Let's get jerseys.
Right now, become a Tangerine client with a savings account, and you could get a free Raptors jersey.
We want jerseys.
Finally, a savings account worth cheering for.
Jerseys. Jerseys.
Find out how to score a jersey at tangerine.ca/Raptors. Tangerine. That's forward banking. Available to new clients who open and fund an eligible account while supplies last. Conditions apply.
Do you love deli meat but are careful about your sodium intake? Try new Schneider's Deli Meat with the delicious taste you've come to expect from Schneider's. Now with 25% less sodium than regular deli meats. They're crafted in Canada using only Schneider's premium cuts of meat, and they're an excellent source of protein. Try all 5 new deli meats, including smoked Black Forest ham and herb turkey from Schneider's. Trusted by Canadians for over 130 years. Brand power helping you buy better.
Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. And the second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it.
Even despite the 4-goal game last night for Tage Thompson, just 26 goals on the year now. After having a monster season last year. A lot of their big boys up front, the numbers have been down, and they missed the playoff previous year, so pretty tough to make it this season.
Shot down the ice by T.J. Brody. Third power play opportunity for Buffalo.
Alex Tuck, by the way, has a 7-game point streak going.
Here's Thompson coming to center. Bedded in on the left wing. Dropped off for Greenway. Greenway back for Thompson. Thompson works down the left wing boards, then drops it back again. Kept alive there by Peterka. Now a battle for it on the boards is pushed out at center ice. And Dewar is going to get it the rest of the way down into Buffalo territory.
Well, Buffalo's power play hasn't been great, but the Leafs penalty kill a big reason why they've got a 2-0 lead.
Sabres bogged down at the Leaf blue line. Now circle back into the center ice area. Thompson, not much more than he can do, but send it in. Poked away there nicely by Samsonov, and that is able to reach a defenseman. And the Leafs send it down the ice again with a minute left to go on the power play. 9:38 to play second period. 2-0 Toronto. Thompson through center. Left wing feed to the line. Bouncing puck after a turnover. Kept alive by Byram. Back to the point it comes. Faking a shot. It comes back to the point for Dahlin. Off on the right wing side. Back to Dahlin again. Looking for Thompson. Sends a shot in. That was stopped by the chest of Samsonov. And easily sent off the boards then by Nylander. And down the ice it goes.
That was just the third shot of the period for the Sabres. 9 minutes to go.
Brought on by Byram. Dropped back again. Through center and in now for Jack Quinn. In against the board. Stolen by Brody. And he had his stick tapped and he didn't get much on it, but it was perfectly placed. It was like a curling rock going to the to the button, but it got out and down the ice. One shot on the power play as the penalty is over. The puck back to the point. Sabres try to send it in front. It goes to the near wing. Back to the point. Long shot by Power. Blocked in front. Cleared to the line, but not out. Power with it again. Sends it in along the boards. Girgensson got it down into the corner. Good play by Benoit to tie his man up. And the penalized player, Matthews, out onto the ice, got it ahead. But Lyubushkin couldn't do much with it. Puck back into the Toronto zone. Lyubushkin passes it ahead for Matthews, who drops for Dewar, and it is played deep into Buffalo territory, but from the wrong side of center ice. It'll turn into an icing call. Matthews out with the members of the fourth line here after the penalty has expired. Looking for goal number 60. Second time in his career that he will reach that plateau.
The way things have gone the last couple of games, you always notice with Matthews, has a couple of games, a lot of shots, a lot of chances, they don't go, and then all of a sudden you break the seal and they start flowing in.
Sabres win the face-off. Domi has it go off his stick and up into the crowd. Speaking of Domi, he and Nylander are the only Leafs playing in their 73rd game of the season.
I wonder what the percentage is around the league of players that play the entire season.
I wouldn't think it'd be very high. No. Wouldn't think it'd be very high.
You and I are talking about the bad things that have happened to Buffalo. Alexander McGillie's 1,000-point was a good one.
That was a strange game, wasn't it? We're going to commercial break. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Celebrate the spirit of Easter on Sirius XM. Hear masses throughout the week on the Catholic Channel, including Easter Mass from Rome with His Holiness Pope Francis. Embrace the promise of hope on Joel Osteen Radio.
You are full of resurrection power.
And experience Easter from Israel on the Billy Graham Channel,
where Jesus walked and talked.
Plus exclusive interviews, performances, and music for the occasion on the all-new Sirius XM app. Just search Christian.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
It's off in the Leaf zone, won by Toronto. Giordano, who scored an emotional goal the other night. And looked to the heavens to salute his dad, who had passed away suddenly.
The irony is he got hurt on a great goal-scoring opportunity that kept him out of the line and crashed into the boards after.
Played by McMahon around the boards to Timmins. Timmins into the slot, got it back again, tried to send it in deep, but it was cut off by the Sabres. And Krebs gets it out at center ice. Buffalo in over the Toronto blue line. Backhand pass, went astray to the near boards, chipped to the line, kept alive by Bowen Byram. Byram got it in along the boards for Krebs. Krebs back of the net, unable to wrap it was Olofsson, but he gets it back to the point. Here's Byram with it again, just kept in. Played off on the wing, then he gets trapped, and here's Tavares breaking down with a defenseman who's lost his stick. But a pretty good play made by Peterka to come back. Now a shot by Thompson is stopped by Samsonov. I'm sure Tavares had to realize he didn't have a stick.
Yeah, I mean, he was still being angled off. I think what he was trying to do is put it through his skates and dance around him, but Peterka did a pretty good job of playing the body. But it looked like the angle he was coming in on, that Tavares was going to get squeezed out on the boards if he didn't try to sharp cut toward the middle of the ice.
Mitch Marner practiced with the team the other day, but he is day-to-day. Noah Gregor, healthy scratch. Joel Edmondson nursing an injury, as is Timothy Liljegren and Morgan Riley. Not in the lineup tonight. And the Sabres misplay a pass back to the blue line, and it's all the way down into Buffalo territory. Dahlin with 6.5 minutes to play in the second period. The Leafs have added to their total to have a 2-0 lead. Samsonov playing it off into the corner. Got it ahead, and it's brought out at center ice by Holmberg. Pontus Holmberg dropping it back for Robertson. Robertson clears into the corner on a bouncing puck. Back of the net for Nyes. Stops up to play into the near corner for Robertson. Robertson curls back with it. Sends it back, trying to find Pontus Holmberg. Didn't get enough on it. Sabres intercept and get it out at center ice to the Leaf blue line. McCabe being forced back there by Rasmus Dahlin, who realized that he was probably in the wrong spot. Played ahead at center. Holmberg couldn't come up with it the first time. Now against the boards on the near wing, it goes back into Buffalo territory. Bryson starting out of his own end. Got to the red line and shot it in. And Samsonov out of the net quickly. And the Leafs get it airmailed, but shoot it into the crowd. And there's going to be a penalty. McCabe backhanding it, trying to catch glass. Didn't. And for the second time in this game, Maple Leafs are going to be guilty of delay of game.
These are one of those where you just put your head down and slide your way into the penalty box.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get the official NHL app to watch, read, and listen to all the deeks.
All I can say is absolutely wow.
All the sauce. All the saves.
Stop from Vasilevsky.
All the hits. All the snipes. All the sellies.
He scores! Unbelievable!
All the hockey. If it's hockey, it's here. Listen to every NHL game for free, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Download the official NHL app now.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yep.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yep, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Leafs a man short for the 4th time in the game, and the penalty kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
A holding, a hooking, and 2 delay of game penalties with the puck being shot over the glass for the Leafs here in this one. So the Sabres, as mentioned, did not have a power play last night against New Jersey. Have now had 4 in the first, what are we looking at, 35 minutes?
Yes, it's actually 25 minutes and 32 seconds.
25?
Yeah. Well, no, more than that, wouldn't it? Yeah, what am I saying? Here's the Leafs breaking down on the... See, there you go with math again.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I know. Yeah, almost 40 minutes, actually. Brought on now by Buffalo to the blue line. Flipped into the left wing corner. Peterka couldn't get to it. Ripped around the boards, but it goes off player this time, or somebody, and out of play. And Giordano breathing a sigh of relief that another delay of game penalty wasn't going to send the Sabres to a 5-on-3.
Well, Connor Dewar waved it off right away. That's one penalty where every player becomes a referee. Puck over glass.
Yep. Play it face off to the left of Samsonov. Won by the Sabres. It comes back to the point. Dahlin getting it off to Tuck Tuck to Thompson. Thompson back to Tuck. Right wing side. Pass in front. Oh, and a pass across for a backdoor try. Went wide of the Leaf goal. Minute 16 in the power play. Good opportunity there for Buffalo. Rasmus Dahlin up on the right side. Tuck plays it back. Intercepted by Pontus Holmberg, but he's run into traffic. Puck is underneath him. The puck comes free. Thompson back into the slot area. Peterka with a shot and a big glove save made by Samsonov. And Sammy will be ringing through KeyBank Center.
That was Peterka that walked in from the slot. Almost the same area that John Tavares scored from. It was Peterka earlier that had the chance in the backdoor play. But here he walks in, looks high glove on Ilya Samsonov. Samsonov really didn't get down in the full butterfly, did he?
No, and it's good that he didn't.
Yeah.
Because he was elevated enough to keep that glove up by the top corner. And that's where it was headed.
But Sergei Bobrovsky might be the goalie that does that the most. That'll actually stand tall when you expect him to butterfly.
Sabres send it down into the Toronto zone. Around on the boards for Giordano. He got it freed up, but it came in front of the goal. Stolen, well, sort of. No, it goes into the corner. Played back of the net, cut off there by the Sabres. Centering pass doesn't work. Brody knocking it back behind the goal, and it'll come back to the point. Kept in by Buffalo. Into the slot area for Byram. A pass across, and it was just out of the reach of Skinner. To the right wing side with 14 seconds left. Down into the corner once more. Byron gets it in front of the goal. Centering pass for Skinner. Can't handle it. Leafs are going to punch it to the blue line, but not out. Into the corner goes centering pass. Right wing side. And it has shot over top of the goal. And it caroms all the way to center as McCabe steps out of the penalty box. Sabres back in. Leafs 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. 3:20 to play in the second period, which would make it about 27 minutes of game time played. Players, a shot there that just went wide of the goal, and caroms to the right wing side. Kept alive. Here's Byram on the left wing. Pass across, looking for a redirect that didn't happen, and it is all the way out and down into Buffalo territory. Leafs get some change done, but the Sabres are slow to come out of their own end. It'll allow the Leafs to get the rest of their change going. Giordano sending the puck high towards center ice. Bertuzzi had broken, but it's brought back by Buffalo. Olofsson dropping it back. A long shot is drilled into the chest, but there was Samsonov way out at the top of the crease and taking that opportunity from Rasmus Dahlin on the chest.
All of a sudden now the Sabres out shooting the Leafs. I believe the last count was 17-16 or 16-14.
Well, no, it's actually 17-14.
Oh, they did just readjust it, didn't it?
Yeah, they changed it on you. You know, you got to watch shots on goal. They change regularly.
How much time has gone in the game?
I have no idea.
I think your last guess was 27 minutes.
I was closer the last time I tried. Here's Olofsson in on the right side. Got a shot away, and I don't know. I think maybe the blocker of Samsonov got a piece of that. And now here's Nylander working in on the left wing, trying to drive the net, goes around back of the goal. Nylander does a nice job of protecting the puck to get it back to the point. Far side, Benoit in front for Tavares. Got a shot away, it was blocked. He sends it banking into the near corner. McMahon, back of the net for Nylander. Nylander and McMahon fighting for it as it comes to the right wing side. Tavares won't be able to keep it in. He has to go back to center ice to restore order. Played back into Buffalo territory. McMahon racing after it. Pushed it out in front. But by that time, Matthews, who was coming onto the ice, couldn't get there. Now he's got it on the right wing side. And the shot went wide. It's centered in front for Bertuzzi, and he had it knocked away before he could deliver it to the net. Here's Thompson. Bouncing it down into the Toronto end. Lyubushkin takes it on his backhand. Makes a good outlet pass to Domi. Domi's going to launch it high into the left wing corner. Matthews down there as well. Matthews trying to get it freed up. Does. Domi had it in his skates but couldn't control it. And then the Sabres get it out into the neutral zone. Alex Tuck kind of gave the big head jerk there trying to draw a penalty on Domi, but the stick never came anywhere near him. Pass on the left wing side. Domi spins and shoots it towards the net, but it was blocked by the defenseman Power. Less than a minute to go. Second period. And the Sabres with Thompson coming to center, launching it into the Toronto zone. Benoit played it up on the left wing boards. It'll get to the blue line, but Nyes doesn't get it out the first time, does the second. 3-on-2 rush. Drop past Robertson, closing! And he snapped it just wide of the goal. Holmberg trying to keep it in, but the Sabres get it out. 24 seconds left to go in the period as an offside will come as Bowen Byram couldn't get there in time to keep it in. The Nick Robinson love-hate kind of story. Boy, when he gets it down there in the offensive end and he shoots the puck, he is a talented goal scorer. Yeah, it's the getting there.
Well, I mean, this whole line, Holmberg, Nyes, and Nick Robertson in this game, a number of times can't get the puck out, continuously turn it over, and then, boom, when they finally do, it's a scoring opportunity at the other end. I would guess the coaching staff, after they scored that goal, after they couldn't get it out 4 or 5 times, probably it was just say nothing. No good job, no good shift, no bad shift.
No,
just
nothing.
Say nothing.
And we'll see you on the plane on the way home up at the front where we take the tablet. We kind of go through it. You know, you could have scored that goal as the time is going to run out a lot earlier if you'd have got the thing out of your own end on the 4 occasions that you didn't.
What you would love to hear is the coach being mic'd up.
Oh, yeah.
On that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, will you stupid? Will you get it?
No. Yes!
Great job. Way to go, boys.
Way to go, guys. Had them all away. 2-0 Toronto. Robertson's goal is 11th from Nyes at 2:34. Added to Tavares from Nylander and Timmins in the first. We'll step aside for Jim Taddy and Dave Feschuk. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
The general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon.
Vegas so quickly has become a place where players want to go.
Players appreciate that we're trying to win, and I think have come to expect it. It's their livelihood and all of those things that go with it. So we try to do what we can to help that happen.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on SiriusXM FC.
Stupendously magnificent!
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter-Miami game.
Messi, up, overhand!
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Canadian Leafs hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Pontus Holmberg couldn't come up with it. Nick Robertson overskates the puck. They still don't get it out. And finally, Nyes does. But he almost missed it. Now here's Robertson and scores! Just like you drew it up at home. Play around with it. Cough it up 8 times in your own end. Break in and score. 2-0, the Leafs over Buffalo after 40 minutes of play. TSN after 40, delivered by 241 Pizza. Get a free medium one-topping pizza with a $25 minimum purchase before tax and delivery. Online orders only. Visit 241pizza.com. Use the code FREEM for that free medium. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschuk from the Star with you. And so just to pick up on what Bonesy said there and what Bonesy and Ralphie said going into the break just before us, if we do some playoff lineup speculation, and everybody's healthy. Marner goes back with the Matthews line. Domi drops down on the third line. Yarncroke returns in the third line, and that means Holmberg goes down to maybe the fourth line and Robertson sits. Would you agree with all that?
Sounds about right, you know, but the only thing that Nick Robertson can do to change that scenario is to do what he did tonight and continue to remind Sheldon Keefe that, hey, don't forget, I may be occasionally turnover prone and maybe more than occasionally turnover prone, and I may have spent large swaths of this season on the outside looking into this lineup. But there's not many guys in this team that can score like I can score, Coach. And he showed it on that counterattack. As Bonesy rightly pointed out, it was a bit of a mess of a shift, more than a bit of a mess of a shift for Robertson and Nyes and Holmberg. But they turned it around with one really good strip by Nyes that ignited that rush. And then Robertson doing what he does. And that's 3 goals now, Jim, in the 8 games he's played since he, had a little bit of a fit and talked about how he wasn't happy sitting. Leafs gave him a chance, and, at times he's making good on it. And certainly he made good on it on that chance.
Well, sometimes you get reminders, Dave, of where this team is and what they've been through. And quite frankly, if I'd said to you a couple of years ago that there would be a line, and obviously these guys are not old enough to be there, but if we had a line for the Leafs like Nyes, Holmberg, and Robertson 3 years ago, would have been embraced. Now it doesn't really fit on the. I mean, it does its job, but it's not going to be that line for the playoffs.
Well, and Sheldon Keefe said as much. The lead up to the game, he basically said, "I don't see them as a trio going forward," which may be, if you are a trio going into this game, and you hear the coach say he doesn't see us as long for this team or long for this combination. I mean, you got to go out there and play. And, hey, you got to go out there and produce, more importantly. And, some of the playing is a little bit rough around the edges with those guys, but that was a hell of a counterattack, and that's what you have to do if you're Nick Robertson. You have to accentuate the positives of your skill set, and he does shoot it well, man. You look at the goals per 60, Jim. If you look at goals per 60 minutes of ice time on this team, outside of the big guns that you'd expect, Robertson's right there at the beyond the core four. Beyond Bobby McMahon, he's right there as one of the more potent scorers per minute of ice time this season, and he showed you why in that particular instance.
I got to say, for a 2-0 game, a lot of opportunities at both ends, pretty good flow to it, and a pretty entertaining Saturday night in Buffalo, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Samsonov is really turning on its head the idea that he may have been haunted by the KeyBank Center, because obviously the last time he was there, it did not go well. he was chased after allowing 5 goals against, and it wasn't long after that he was essentially cut loose by the Maple Leafs, or at least put on waivers and told to take some time away from the game of hockey at the low point of his season. But he's come out tonight in his return to the KeyBank Center there, and he is playing great, man. He's right on his game, and whatever the Sabres have got going, he has turned it around, and he's been a big reason why the penalty kill. Another thing you might not have had on your bingo card coming in, the penalty kill is 4 for 4. As bad as the Buffalo power play has been this season, they had a lot of good chances, and Samsonov has been penalty killer number 1 tonight.
Yeah, the Buffalo power play operates at 16.1%. Dreadful. And that helps the Leafs escape 2 puck over the glass penalties.
Yeah, and those ones are kind of concerning. Like, if you're Sheldon Keefe, you're shaking your head saying, okay, Connor Dewar, I mean, on a night when you've already made a mistake, you built a turnover that Samsonov had to turn back in the first period. You also had the puck over glass penalty. You're one of our best penalty killers, and you took 2 penalties, one of which was an offensive zone penalty in the first period. Second period, for Jake McCabe to take that puck over glass penalty, kind of a panic move from a veteran defenseman. You don't like to see it. There's no reason to panic against the Buffalo Sabres. There's no reason to panic against anybody. So yeah, those are the sort of the negatives. The positives are the Maple Leafs have had 4 power plays against. The Buffalo power play has been out there 4 times, and the Toronto penalty kill has been excellent. I mean, they really haven't allowed a ton of great chances, and the ones they have allowed, Samsonov's been right there for them. So maybe they can build on that. They were 2 for 2 against New Jersey, even though they lost that game and it wasn't a great effort. 2 for 2 against Washington, and now 4 for 4 against Buffalo. That's 8 for 8 in their last 3 games. Touch wood heading into the final 20 minutes.
I could have been swayed into Austin Matthews having a big night. He's only had 2 shots on goal and no other missed attempts, so 2 attempts, both get through. It's an odd night for him, isn't it?
Sort of has been so far, yeah. I mean, he's been present out there. I think he's had a couple of nice takeaways. He's definitely had flashes of excellence. Obviously took a rare penalty there. Speaking of the sort of the barrage of power plays that the Sabres have faced the Maple Leafs with, but yeah, well, it hasn't exactly been an electric night for Austin Matthews or that first line in general when you think about it. But hey, there's still time left, and as you pointed out coming into this game, like he's been absolutely peppering opposition goalies with shots on goal in the games coming into this one. So I wouldn't put it past him to make something happen here in the final 20 minutes.
I hope so. I'm just looking. Bertuzzi has had no shots on goal and Domi 1, so that line really hasn't had a bunch of scoring opportunities.
Yeah, quiet night considering, you got a really raucous atmosphere there. You saw those young men lined up bought an entire row of seats, one of each with the letter Matthews across their chests. Pretty good seats there in KeyBank Center. Tons of Leaf fans and a raucous atmosphere. And yeah, you'd think they might be a little more keyed up for this one. But hey, again, there's time to go here, and the Maple Leafs have put in a pretty good performance all in all to be up 2-0 heading into the final period. But good game, but yeah, for the first line, a little bit quiet.
This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound. At least no one was inside. I hope no one was inside. I guess I'll just stick to approving business loans.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Just for license 12616.
For juicy turkey, head to Farm Boy. Premium Farm Boy fresh turkey from the Hayter Farm in Dashwood, Ontario is grain-fed for unbeatable taste. Because it's fresh, there's no moisture robbing thine, so your turkey is guaranteed naturally moist and tender. For delicious Easter ham, pick up a fully cooked Farm Boy bone-in Ontario ham, slow smoked over real hardwood in Dundas, Ontario, for succulent texture and distinctively sweet flavor. When quality counts, count on Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
Will I need a new air conditioner this summer? Predicting record-breaking heat?
You might not know the best time to get a new air conditioner, but we do. Right now, with the Reliance Home Comfort Trade-In event, you can get $1,100 in credit towards your new AC when you trade in your old one. That's right, $1,100. So if you want to beat the summer rush and save big,
call on Reliance.
Conditions apply. See website for details.
When you vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line, every day is a new day. Get a taste for Barcelona, then savor incredible dining back on board one day. Connect to ancient history in Athens, and then disconnect in our spa another day. Wherever the sea breeze takes you, come aboard and experience a different tomorrow with Norwegian. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA.
The rest of my life gonna start today.
Do you love deli meat but are careful about your sodium intake? Try new Schneider's Deli Meat with the delicious taste you've come to expect from Schneider's. Now with 25% less sodium than regular deli meats. They're crafted in Canada using only Schneider's premium cuts of meat, and they're an excellent source of protein. Try all 5 new deli meats, including smoked Black Forest ham and herb turkey from Schneider's. Trusted by Canadians for over 130 years. Brand power helping you buy better.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. First batcher after 40 minutes of play. It is Pittsburgh 2-1 over Columbus. Carolina 1-0 over the Habs. Chicago 3-1 over Philadelphia. Tampa 2-1 over the Islanders. Ottawa 2-1 over the Jets. Bruins and Capitals tied at 2. After 20 minutes of play, Sharks and Blues are scoreless. Earlier today, Panthers 3-2 over Detroit. Golden Knights 2-1 over Minnesota. It was the Oilers 6-1 over the Ducks. Rangers 8-5 over the Coyotes. Avalanche 7-4 over Nashville. Tonight, Kings and Calgary, Stars in Seattle. In our game, 2-0 for the Leafs. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Wow, this is a moment for me.
From 70s disco divas
to today's viral sensations.
Hey, it's Kylie Minogue. To celebrate Women's History Month, I'll be spotlighting my career as well as the iconic ladies of dance music. SiriusXM's Women of Dance. Hosted by me. For a limited time on Channel 107 and year-round on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent!
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter-Miami game.
Messi, up, over,
and get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this. They got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. the biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs have a 2-0 lead going into the third period.
Pretty solid defensively. I think the best thing about the defensive play tonight, Joe, is how the forwards have been able to get back on the rush. And they've really been able to break up a number of plays for the Sabres.
Other than the one shift before the goal,
yeah,
I'd agree with you, yes. But that was the fire drill in perfect disorder. And then, of course, they end up scoring. And it's 2-0 as Robertson scores that one. Tavares scored in the first period. Leafs to the right and the Sabres to the left. No, check that. Other way around. Leafs to the left, Sabres to the right.
But if you turn this way, it's the other way around.
I'm going to hit you. I am going to throw something at you.
Oh, there's lots of time to get worse. Buffalo, by the way, 4-29-2 when trailing after two periods. They were down 2-0 to New Jersey.
Puck is dropped. Back. Yep. Leafs to the right, Sabres to the left. As it's cleared down into the Sabre zone. Now Buffalo's tag brings it back in over the line. Thompson with a shot into the chest of Samsonov, and he will stop play and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Well, certainly key games for Buffalo coming up, but like we said, the margin of error is razor thin right now. They do have 2 against Washington, 1 each against Philadelphia and the Detroit Red Wings.
And the Leafs are going to have a big hand in who they play. They've got
Tampa twice, Florida twice.
Yeah. The draw scrummed, poked up on the wing for Brody. He's going to skate it out at center, but gives it to the left wing side, and Dewar will get it in deep. Reeves after the puck on the right wing side, but Thompson is able to get it out into the center ice area. Played ahead by Alex Tuck. Centering pass goes off a stick and in on goal. And the shot was blocked by Brody. Another shot. Good pad save made there by Samsonov. Leafs round back of the net with Lyubushkin finding his defense partner. And Brody gets the puck out at center ice. Dewar will chip it back into Buffalo territory. Jokiharju gets it ahead now for Greenway. Jordan Greenway with an easy shot. And is caught by Samsonov. And it'll be brought back for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
We've already talked about it. A
deflection coming up and striking Brody in the left ear.
All they need is another injury to the blue line.
Oh, boy. You think about the number of players who they've utilized on the blue line this year.
But with that have come the pleasant surprises like Simon Benoit.
Yep, here's a chance. Jokiharju with a shot. That went wide. Nylander can't catch up to it. Sabres keeping it in. Played high into the corner. Giordano got there to force it back, but it is Benson getting it back into the side of the net and around the boards to the near wing. Pinching down Jokiharju. Back to the point. A shot blocked, and it's going to carry him all the way back down into Buffalo territory.
Sabres are plus 22 in the third period, though. When it comes to goals for and goals against, that is 4th best in the NHL.
Fired into the Toronto zone. Blocked again and pushed out at center. Robertson got it ahead. Benoit got spun around, but it was able to poke it in there a little bit. Then Tyson Jost gave Robertson a pretty good shot on the boards. And the Sabres have it under control back in their own end. Shots favor Buffalo, 21-14. The score favors the Leafs, 2-0. And the Leafs have it again. Chipped in over the line by Pontus Holmberg, who was stood up there by Connor Clifton. Down into the corner goes Nyes. Nyes battling against the wall. Brody thinks better of pinching. And the Sabres have the puck under control in their own end. Matthews up hunting around for someone to be a little careless. And the puck on the near side for Jacob Bryson. Bryson slowly coming out of his own end. He wants to get to the bench. Passed it off on the wing. There's a turnover because of Matthews. Here's Bertuzzi getting a pass down into the left wing corner from Austin Matthews. Round on the far side. Domi centered it in front of the net. Cleared back to the blue line on a great play by Bertuzzi as well. Sabres now have it, though. And Owen Power will turn it off the boards and get it out at center ice. Krebs gets it to the line and in. A long shot is deflected wide of the goal off Greenway's stick. Puck along the boards on the near side. Blocked by Brody, played by Matthews. He got caught from behind. Didn't see Greenway there, but then steals it back from Greenway. And now Domi cuts in. A drop pass for Bertuzzi. Over to Matthews shooting. And that was caught by Luukkonen.
Bit of a broken play, but it all starts with Austin Matthews giving the puck away and taking it right back. And not the smoothest of plays once the Leafs got into the Buffalo zone. But eventually it was thrown over to Austin Matthews. And again, another one of those show where you had to reach for it, wait, turn, and then deliver it. And you give Luukkonen credit. He read the play and came well out to the top of the crease.
And he had time to do it, right?
Yep.
Leafs win the face-off. Giordano sends it wide of the goal into the far corner. Tavares shielding it nicely with his body. Back behind the net for Nylander. Nylander works into the near corner with it. With skating speed. Gets back towards the blue line and then had it roll off his stick. And the Leafs have a chance to have to come back and tuck with a shot. And Samsonov the save. The two defensemen had gotten out of the way and gone to the other side because Nylander was curling back towards them. And when he turns the puck over, the two defensemen are really handcuffed over there and had to hustle back to force Tuck to take the shot, maybe when he didn't want to. Cleared to the line. Tuck cuts it off, sends it towards it, and a backhand try. Oh, and they had a glorious chance there from Skinner, and he never really did get it on the backhand, and if he did, he had open net.
And again, that comes after the Leafs' inability to clear the zone. Two opportunities, could only get into the blue line before the Sabres get their great chance.
Byram playing it off to his defense partner. Now Cousins gets it ahead. Power gets across the line and sends it around the boards. Lyubushkin ties up his man with a hit. The puck comes back to the point. Near side for Benson. Benson rattles it around the boards back of the net. Cut off there by the Leafs. Grabbed off by Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin looking for an outlet. Sees David Camp, who carries it in, and he'll shoot it in on goal. Steered wide of the net by Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Leafs with the puck and Robertson. Back of the net for Camp. Round the boards for Giordano. Shot went well wide of the goal, but trapped on the far side and comes back to the point. A shot. Luukkonen down. Camp tried to get there to get a redirect, but it got by him, and Luukkonen had very little trouble swallowing that up.
Boy, Ilya Samsonov had to make a big save in that opportunity that the Sabres had, looking like it was going to be an empty net. But it was a redirection on a point shot, so Ilya Samsonov had to be sharp on that. Make the first save and then had to sprawl. Maybe a little better than Yuri Sira did back in 1982.
Yes.
In that 14-4 Buffalo game that we found. And in that game, going through it, nobody had a 5 or 6 point night. It was Gilbert Perreault had a couple of goals, no assists. I think Danny Gare had a couple of goals for the Sabres.
Sabres get the puck out at center ice and down into the Leaf end. A sharp angle shot handled easily there by Samsonov. Puck in the corner, dug out now by Holmberg. And Pontus Holmberg gets it out at center for Nyes. Nyes gets it down to the blue line, but not in deep. And the Sabres now against the boards, but Nyes doing a nice job on the wall. Has it come back out at center ice, and now here are the Sabres in over the line. Good play by Benoit. He stood up, Victor Olofsson, and just said, you are... Please tell me that's not interference.
I won't tell you.
That can't be a penalty. He had the puck.
Lost the puck by the time he pushed him to the ice, but... Boy... Timo?
Oh, wow. All right.
Olofsson did the smart thing. He went down. And the Leafs are going to be short for the 5th time tonight.
5th power play of the game for Buffalo. And that one, boy, I got to question that one. I'm sorry. That's the continuation of the hit.
Well, we talk about how they're a more physical team, the Leafs are. Whether that's going to translate into more success in the playoffs remains to be seen. But
this part.
Judging by calls like that, this might be a real bad playoff if those are going to be called.
But if you're going to be physical, you've got to be a good penalty killing team. Drop pass, Dahlin. Sabres break through neutral ice with Thompson. Drop back for Tuck. Fed over on the left wing side. Dahlin looking for a return pass and gets it from Tuck. Back to Tuck in the slot area. Back to Dahlin. They play catch to the near side. Thompson. And Samsonov was looking for the backdoor pass and was a little deeper in the net. And Tag Thompson just shot it into his chest.
Yeah, it was almost like Samsonov was already starting to lean to the right. But again, that's a number of saves we've seen this after.
Where he stayed up.
Yeah. And I think that's where Austin Matthews has started to deliver those low 5-hole sharp angle shots, trying to catch guys before they butterfly.
Linesman David Brisebois of Sudbury handling his 1,500th game as the Leafs get control of the puck and send it out and down the ice. Sabres made a nice presentation of a jersey with some autographs on it. Brought out now by Buffalo. Through center to the line and in. Labushkin forced the puck into the far corner. Pontus Holmberg couldn't come up with it. Tuck gets it free around the boards to the far side. It comes back to the point. Near side for Dahlin. Dahlin mirrored. Back to the point. It comes again for Thompson. A little stutter step. Closing. Got it in front of the net. Another big pad save by Samsonov. Puck is at the blue line. Dahlin trying to keep it in. And Pontus Holmberg fights diligently right at the blue line. They still have bodies there. And it is second and goal from the half-inch line. They held him out.
What it was like, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Goal line stand.
Yeah, right wing side. Drop pass, shot. Wide left. And up into the... did you catch that? Wide left?
Well, Samsonov's right.
Yeah, no, but it was wide left. Went up into the screen. It was wide left.
Well, would have gone in.
Hey, it's Buffalo. Or is it wide right in Buffalo? I think both sides.
Wide right.
I think it's wide right. Yeah. 14 seconds left in the penalty.
Sabres outshooting the Leafs here in the third period by a count of 9-3, but from a Toronto standpoint, the penalties keep coming.
And Ilya Samsonov has been outstanding. Joseph Woll the other night did not have to make nearly as many critical saves as Samsonov has had to make here in the...
But it was his first game with one goal against since before he was injured. We had to go back to November.
Yep. 48 minutes of play. Got that one. Puck turned over. Leafs were able to punch it out at center ice. Now, in fairness, I had to think about it a while. Brought back in over the line by Buffalo. Pass onto the left wing side. Broken up by Brody, who got high sticked.
And no argument there. Is that Jeff Skinner that tried to lift the stick and came up and caught TJ Brody. I don't think there's a lot of damage or any blood leaking. But TJ Brody, if the referee didn't know he got clipped when the stick came up, he did when the head snapped back. 4-on-4.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning. It's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something? For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio. Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter-Miami game.
Messi, up, over,
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Ilya Samsonov has been outstanding.
Yeah, not a lot of shots, not much volume, but boy, it's got to be, what, half a dozen spectacular stops.
Leafs to the power play for the third time in the game, brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today as the puck goes out of play in the Leaf end.
Joseph Wall, if I'm not mistaken, made his first NHL start in Buffalo. Did not a 5-3, 5-4 win.
You're right.
But Ilya Samsonov, I mean, one of the impressive things is it's so hard to get the save percentage. Like when you start.
Oh, as far down as and he's into the 890s now because of this game.
But the goals against average is been impressive.
Leafs win the draw. Nylander couldn't cradle the puck to get a shot away. Gets it to Bertuzzi, who gets it to Matthews. Back into the slot. Timmins to Nylander. Back to Timmins at the blue line. Holding. Tried to play it in for Matthews. It got by everybody, and Bertuzzi has it. Back to Matthews. He has it in his skates and manages to get it free. And then a centering pass. Went by Nylander and has come all the way down the ice.
Boy, he was wide open, too. As the Sabres overloaded on the puck in behind the goal.
Here's Nylander trying to flip it through, but Benson broke it up. In for Tuck and a shot. That went high over top of the Leaf goal. Leafs getting a little careless in their own neutral zone here, trying to get into the Buffalo end. And it's bounced in wide of the Leaf goal to the far side for Tavares. He opened the scoring for the Maple Leafs in the first, celebrating his 1100th game in the National Hockey League. Leafs get it up on the left wing, and Matthews is through center ice. Dropping it back, brought on now by Timmins. Dropped it off for Nylander, but out of the reach. And the power play, it misses Mitch Marner. It's just...
I thought they had the power play in the second period, I thought, was the sharpest they look with the extra man.
Now the Leafs finally get it in over the line with Domi on the right side. He got a shot away, and it may have gone off Luukkonen, but has found the screen with 26 seconds left to go in the power play and a faceoff coming in the Buffalo zone. Leafs' next action is Monday night when the Florida Panthers, and maybe a preview of the first round of the playoffs.
Well, I know we were talking about Joseph Wall having a game with just one goal against. Well, his last game, it was a 2-1 shootout win against Florida at home. It'll be interesting to see if Joseph Wall is back in goal, or how Sheldon Keefe is going to handle the goaltender.
Now a lead pass brings the Sabres in on goal. In on the pad save made by Samsonov as Cousins broke in off the left wing. Leafs bring it back. McMahon on his backhand around back of the goal. Plays it back to the blue line. Domi to the slot area. Shot blocked. Rebound in front of the goal. Knocked away by Luukkonen. And cleared out and down the ice. And racing out of the penalty box is Skinner. He's in alone. Stopped by Samsonov. Rebound. Stopped by Samsonov. Holy mackerel. What a save that was. Reaching up with his left glove and knocking it away. Oh. Huh. Leafs get it out and are on borrowed time, and Sammy.
The first one was spectacular. The second one was ridiculous. I mean, it was an empty net, wasn't it? Just
absolutely.
Skip it in. And that left hand came up and batted it away.
Now Camp unable to push it ahead. Sabres. Thompson bringing it in over the line. Go Leafs, go, echoing through the KeyBank Center with a 2-0 Toronto lead. Benoit Plays it off the boards, and then Reeves couldn't get in over the line. Reeves gets back to take it away from Thompson, but Thompson restores. Thompson at the blue line, just keeps it in. On the near wall, cleared into the corner, cut off by Benoit. Played ahead for Nyes. Nyes gets his head up in time to see Tyson Yost bearing down on him. Sabres get it back at center. And across the line for Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin couldn't get by Giordano. And Giordano goes back into his own zone. Boy, just careless on the power play, turning the puck over. Here's Nyes. Playing it around the boards. It'll go to the far side, and Tavares punches it back behind the net. Nyes in pursuit. Power gets it up ahead, and the Sabres get it out at center ice. And here's Girgensons. Had it knocked away from him, and the Leafs Nylander to the line. Didn't get it in deep. Al has it knocked off his stick, and Tuck starts away for Buffalo. Played up on the right wing side. Breaking in there is Bryson. He takes it to the boards, back of the Toronto goal. Puck comes to the side of the net. Leafs get free of it and get it up into the air, and now out at center ice, and racing after it is Domi. One man back. Domi in! And that was blockered away nicely by Luukkonen. Back of the goal, Domi again centers. That just missed. Back to the point, a shot, and Luukkonen has caught that. With 7:53 to go, but my goodness. 2 back-to-back saves by Ilya Samsonov that were 10-bellers.
I mean, it has been incredible what he has done on breakaways. But yeah, this one off Cousins. He stopped Skinner on the breakaway. He's face down. The rebound pops back out. It looks like this is flipping into the upper part of the net. And Samsonov bats it away.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Ron is a teacher helping bright minds, but this time he needed help. Alpine Credit sent a cosmic superhero with a debt consolidation loan. She conjured a magic book, Debt Consolidation 101. Lesson 1, consolidate debt into one low monthly payment. Lesson 2, nothing. It's a short book. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, we're home.
Hey everybody, Mike from Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you all for getting us over the 7,000 subscriber mark. Let's keep it going. Let's have some fun tonight in the chat. Smash that like button down below. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on so you can hang out with us every single Leafs game or Toronto sports event. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys soon. Let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go!
Test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Maple Leafs 2, the Buffalo Sabres no score. Third period action coming to you from Buffalo.
Could be a pretty big night for the Washington Capitals. They're still tied with the Boston Bruins at 2, but the Red Wings lost in overtime earlier. Islanders down 3-1 in Tampa.
Draw scrummed. Reeves couldn't come up with it. And Byram goes back into his own zone. 7:45 to play third period. Thompson works his way out of the defensive zone. Got it up on the wing. Brody got it around back of the net off his stick. Got it returned then from Lyubushkin. And Brody punches it around on the wall to the right wing side. And the Leafs get it to the line and out. Sabres, Tuck trying to play it back in, broken up by Toronto, and Brody back in his own zone, finds defense partner, and up on the left wing it goes to Nyes. Nyes shoots it in and hustles in there after the puck. He'll get there in a tie. The puck against the boards. Robertson trying to help out. Puck goes into the corner. Now Robertson chipping it along for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg works the boards. Nyes is there as well. Sabres get it up on the wing, and now they'll get it out. Jokiharju got it to center. Collision there that was just out of the picture. As Benoit ran into somebody. Might have known. Back in along the boards, it's McCabe. Playing it to the near side. Robertson against the boards. Unable to come up with it cleanly. Puck in the puck back of the Toronto goal. Benoit knocks his man down as it comes back to the blue line. Carried off for Power. Power's shot went wide of the goal. This line hemmed in its own end again. Here's a chance for Benson to work back of the goal. Flip to the far side. Nyes doesn't get there. Back of the net again for Buffalo. Bank pass to the point to Power. Goes D to D. Wrist shot coming. Blockered away. Side of the net. Smothered by Samsonov, who wisely says we need some fresh legs out here.
And Benson and Holmberg, a little bit of pushing. Looks like Benson lost his mouth guard. That's come in front of Elias Samsonov. But the shots on goal total continues to grow in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. Leafs only 6 shots on goal here in the third period. 6 in the second, 8 in the first. For the grand total of 20, Buffalo now 31 on the night, including 13 here in the third period.
Well, Ilya Samsonov's last game in Buffalo.
Did not finish. Five goals.
He has certainly restored confidence in that area. Around back of the net to the near side. Robertson, or at least, Bertuzzi. Got it freed up back of the net quickly by Timmins to the far side, and the Leafs get it out at center, but just out of the reach of Matthews. And now losing his stick. Matthews is in. Oh, and a huge save made there by Lukin, and centering pass is blocked. The Sabre, Bowen Byram, lost his stick. Pass it, but they score! There it is! Number 60! And he gives it the big salute. Austin Matthews makes it 3-0 and equals his career high 60 goals, ladies and gentlemen.
Bowen Byram coming back into his own end as a broken stick and has to throw it away. Matthews moved in, couldn't get the deke to go on Luukkonen. Got the rebound back with Luukkonen sprawled out of the goal. Hit the post, threw it to the point, and finally got the dirty one. As Byram, not only does he lose his stick, he kicked the puck back to Matthews. Matthews then threw it back to the right point. Shot came through a maze, was stopped, but Matthews was right there to tuck in the rebound. And for a guy that doesn't show a lot of emotion,
I was just about to say that.
This meant something to him.
Yes, it did. And it should. Wow. Austin Matthews, 60 goals. And there's a group behind the Leaf bench with Matthews spelled out in their T-shirts, are holding up big, birthday celebration balloons with 60. And the Leafs.
That is so cool to see everybody.
Isn't it great? And what an atmosphere to do it in, too, in Buffalo. Played at center ice, chipped ahead and knocked in over the line by McMahon. And it'll be played down into the Toronto zone. And your point, Ralphie, about how he does not over-celebrate.
No.
He really does. He celebrates more for other people's goals.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
But unless it's an overtime goal or winner, like very seldom would you see him celebrate.
Oh, exactly.
Like this on a 3-0 goal.
I mean, and Alex Ovechkin loves to score, and he loves to celebrate. And that's fine.
But you know what's incredible?
I just love this character that is Austin Matthews.
What's incredible, Alexander Ovechkin, who could be the greatest goal scorer of all time before his career is over, only hit the 60-goal mark once. And for Austin Matthews, that's twice in 3 years.
Here are the Sabres having to wait for a teammate to get onside. Get it off on the right wing side for Dylan Cousins. Cousins in with a backhand that's going to roll into the goal crease. And with 4:19 to play, Samsonov will cover up on it. Connor Timmins draws the lone assist on the historic goal. 60-goal seasons. Wayne Gretzky and Mike Bossy had 5. Lemieux and Esposito 4. And now Austin Matthews has 2.
And for Bowen Byram, he loses his stick, allows Matthews to get in. Then he kicks the puck to Matthews, in behind the net. And guess who is the closest Sabre to Matthews when he put it in. It was Bowen Byram, so a tough shift for the Buffalo defenseman.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Baseball is back, and you can hear every MLB game on Sirius XM.
This team never stops.
Hear your hometown announcers on the all-new Sirius XM app.
They celebrate at home plate.
And talk baseball every day with our team of former players and executives on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89.
There's just something about opening day of the Major League Baseball season.
Get closer to the action on Sirius XM and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get overlooked.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
How many of those people down in Buffalo do you think got tickets saying, you know what, this could be a real special night? And when he scored, he went to the boards and the glass, and there was a wall of Leaf jerseys celebrating with Austin Matthews. I loved it.
You hate to say it, be more than there'd be at home.
Yeah, maybe. Down that way, that low anyway. Pass deflects to the near boards. 4 minutes to play. 3-0 Toronto. Centering pass didn't work. Here's Tag sending it to the net. It went wide. The rebound came in front. Stopped by Samsonov again. Reeves just trying to get rid of it. Has sent it down the ice, but there's a whistle.
I think it may have gone into the Leaf bench.
Greenway and Camp got tangled up. McCabe is down there as well. Well, the story's going to be reaching 60.
22, 2 minutes, okay.
And you know what? And the side, it may be the sidebar stories. McCabe's going to the penalty box because Samsonov has been so good.
He's been the game, and of course. There, got to make him earn it here with 3.5 minutes to go in regulation. 3:47 to be exact.
Draw one by Toronto, and it is quickly lifted high and out and down the ice. Goal is emptied down to our left, so Luukkonen has gone to the bench with 3:34 to go on a power play here for Buffalo. Played around the boards to the far side. Giordano gets a hold of it, sends it to the empty net, missed it. But you can try as often as you can here. You get 5 for a quarter. Brought in over the line now by the Sabres. Broken up by the Leafs and punched high back into Buffalo territory. Almost tipped there by McMahon into the empty net as he was up forechecking. Sabres break it back. Through center. To the line. Backhanded in. Whistle down offside. Someone preceded that shoot in over the line. Mark Giordano. Going to have to get the crosshairs on that scope adjusted just a tad. Missed it by about 30 feet.
What about this, though? Chicago beating the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia 5-1. In the third period, the Flyers currently third in the Metro, but only a point up on Washington and 2 up on Detroit. They could find themselves out of a playoff spot.
Shot down the ice by Toronto, but Luukkonen is back into the cage now. Now he is starting to head to the bench, and there he goes. Up on the right side, broken up by and a shot to the empty net, went wide of the net, taken there by Pontus Holmberg. Leafs have had 3 shots at the yawning cage. Here are the Sabres dropping it back. Tom brought in over the line, shot around the boards by Quinn to the near side. It comes back to the blue line. Trapped there by Jokiharju. Over on the left wing side, Bowen Byram back to Jokiharju. On the right side then for Quinn, a shot. That deflected on a block by Benoit. Jokiharju gets it back to the blue line again. Jokiharju on the right side for Quinn. Down low. Penalty has 26 seconds in it. Quinn again to Jokiharju with a shot. That deflected wide of the net. Jammed at. Nylander played to the line. Trapped by the Sabres. Another shot goes high and wide of the Toronto goal. Back on the point now for Quinn. Quinn down to the half boards on the near side. A centering pass intercepted. Pontus Holmberg one-hands the puck. Trying to push it ahead to a teammate for an empty net rush and didn't get it out. Here's another shot that goes wide. Penalty is over. Leafs now just a man short because of the shorthand or by the extra attacker on for Buffalo. Minute 38 to go. Round on the boards to the near side. Cousins traps. Cousins gets it back to the point. Byram doesn't shoot it. Now he will. That deflects and goes up into the screen. Leafs blocking shots in front of
and guess
Ilya Samsonov.
Guess who blocked it? Pontus Holmberg.
You better. Yeah. After that.
You better get real big. 1:28 to go. I believe the net is still empty with the Leafs holding on to a 3-0 lead. And when you start looking at this, and we're not trying to get ahead of ourselves, but I thought the best game that Samsonov had all year was a 1-0 overtime win against Winnipeg. This might surpass it.
Back to the point it goes. Here's Power on the left wing side. A shot deflects wide. Comes out in front of the net. It banks to the near boards. Matthews just has to get rid of it but can't get it out. Now the Leafs send it out and down the ice, but this will be icing. With a minute 8 to go.
That Winnipeg game, and that was part of the comeback. It was right before the All-Star break. Then he went into Winnipeg and beat the Jets there. But the comeback for Ilya Samsonov started after the Leafs had lost in Vancouver on a Saturday. Samsonov went in Sunday against Seattle and then went on a run, and he has been outstanding since then.
Matthews unable to steal the puck, then got it knocked to the boards. He works on the wall, can't come up with it. Brody on the far side. One thing to decide, and Brody gets taken down, and there's going to be a penalty here to Alex Tuch. And now, who's in the middle of this?
That's Giordano.
Giordano is in the middle, and Greenway. And Giordano's got his hands free, but being held from behind. Now, Bertuzzi's got a hold of Rasmus Dahlin. Oh, I'd love to see this. So would Austin Matthews.
Bertuzzi's looking to his left while putting his glove into the face of Dahlin, who no longer is making eye contact. Giordano is down now with his helmet off.
And the linesman on top of him. 55.6 seconds left to go. Now it starts up again. Was that Bertuzzi? Bertuzzi getting tackled from behind and held by Tuch. And now Brody trying to get free. Rasmus Dahlin, I think, sucker punched.
McMahon has his man in a headlock. That's Peterka.
And dragging him around. Now Tuch gets over and grabs him. And now here we go. Tuch, we got all kinds of everybody tied up with one another. Bertuzzi.
Tage Thompson. I don't think Buffalo wants to see this either. As it's the referee that has actually tackled Bertuzzi to the ice.
McMahon and Tuch are doing a waltz, and no one seems to be wanting to throw a punch. And now they separate. Bertuzzi's finally getting back up onto his skates, and so is Bobby McMahon. But I'll tell you what.
Didn't have a lot of this last year.
Give me this in the playoffs, Mr. Ralph. Give me this in the playoffs. Let the Leafs be the team that you have to respond to rather than having to respond to someone else's tactics. So I'll take this any day of the week.
I think Buffalo's getting the original penalty as T.J. Brody got hit from behind into the boards.
By Dahlin.
Yeah, that was Dahlin that hit him. And I think that's why I think some of the Leafs thought it was Alex Tuch was the one that did it.
Yep. Oh, come on!
Well, and Austin Matthews was he on? No. Yeah, he was. Yep. So he's got a 10.
Yep. Oh, there goes the Lady Bing. Yeah. Yes.
And the Leafs will go to a power play, but Bertuzzi's gone. Matthews is gone.
So everybody has a 10-minute misconduct?
Yes.
And Dahlin gets a 2-minute minor?
Yes. So the Leafs.
Where's his 10-minute misconduct?
Oh, no. He said everybody in the ice gets a 10.
All right.
So Dahlin would
has
get
to
the
serve
10
the minor.
too.
Yeah, okay.
And Austin Matthews, a big smile, getting a pat in the back from Bobby Hastings, the Leafs trainer, as he will make his way to the Leaf dressing room. Still would have been nice to maybe sneak number 61 in.
No kidding. Power play brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Well, you got to think that Sheldon Keefe is going to say, let's check some boxes here tonight. Goaltending question, we've got a real competition going. Great. Both guys are playing well. Penalty kill, we can be aggressive and physical if we continue to be as good at the penalty kill as they have been in their last 4 games.
Yeah, a lot of good things. And fourth line, some questions. Playing too much time in their own end as opposed to playing a lot more time in the offensive zone. Obviously, there are going to be things that you want to clean up as the referees continue to discuss. I think that's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody got a 10-minute misconduct. Go home.
10-minute misconducts and a 2-minute minor. And well, looks like Ryan Reeves is going to get a little penalty kill time.
Power play time.
Or power play time.
Yep.
And it's going to be interesting because you say, now, is this just a reward? Now that the officials are skating over to the benches with a sheet of paper.
Gord Dwyer and TJ Luxmore, we haven't introduced them tonight, other than Steve Barton and David Breezebaugh, the linesman. And
yeah, I don't think this is like the batting order being wrong in baseball.
No.
This is now Donnie Granato is getting a look at the same piece of paper.
Got to make sure that nobody has snuck back and sat on the bench, I guess, right? So they would have gone through the tape to see who exactly was on the ice.
It shouldn't be hard. They're out there a while.
They were out there for a while. Yeah, exactly. So this is an abbreviated power play to try to put the finishing touches on a big night for Ilya Samsonov. The puck goes back into the Toronto zone. Nyes dropping it back for Benoit. He's going to circle back behind his goal. Played it ahead for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg drops for Benoit. Benoit to center. He'll flip it in on the right side. In goes Holmberg back at the net for Dewar. He couldn't come up with it. Sabres have iced the puck. Samsonov has 24 seconds left to go here. Nyes back in his own zone. Don't get stupid with it. Lost the puck. Now the Sabres trying to punch it back in. Nyes forces it back out, then takes a cross check from Dylan Cousins. Shot to the side of the Leaf goal. Puck still free. 5 seconds left. Just flip it around back of the net. And for the first time since Andrew Raycroft in 2007, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go into Buffalo and record a shutout as they win it 3-0.
And this is going to be up there as one of the best moments Ilya Samsonov has had in a Leaf uniform. And you know the numbers were great last year, Joe? But what really bolstered those numbers for Samsonov last year was his home ice record. He had struggled on the road but was outstanding at home. And this year he has been able to mix it up since he's come back. Like we said, it started with a game. His comeback started with a win on a Sunday in Seattle. And then he just continued through. And for Samsonov, I thought maybe his best game of the year coming into this one was a 1-0 overtime win at home against the Winnipeg Jets. But boy, this 3-0 shutout win in Buffalo is right up there. No, it wasn't 40 or 50 shots.
Well, it was darn close. 34, including 16 in the third period.
Yeah, but there had to be a dozen spectacular saves. And I'm sure with Sheldon Keefe, the preference would be 4 or 5. But Ilya Samsonov, a huge reason that the penalty kill was good and that the Leafs blanked the Sabres.
Well, lots to talk about in the post-game show. And Jim Taddy and Dave Feschuk I'm sure going to be joined by Mr. Ralph as well. We'll be along as the Leafs celebrate a 3-0 win in Buffalo, and an invitation from yours truly to join us on Monday night when the Florida Panthers are in town and a 7 o'clock start. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
The general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon.
Vegas so quickly has become a place where players want to go.
Players appreciate that we're trying to win, and I think we've come to expect it. It's their livelihood and all of those things that go with it. So we try to do what we can to help that happen.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on Sirius XM FC.
Stupendously magnificent.
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter Miami game.
Messi up overhead.
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps and there's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Bertuzzi got it freed up back of the net quickly by Timmins to the far side, and the Leafs get it out at center, but just out of the reach of Matthews. And now losing his stick. Matthews is in. Oh, and a huge save made there by Lukin, and centering pass is blocked. The Sabre, Bowen Byram, lost his stick. Pass in front. They score! There it is! Number 60! And he gives it the big salute. Austin Matthews makes it 3-0 and equals his career high 60 goals, ladies and gentlemen.
As the Leafs win 3-0 in Buffalo. Very entertaining hockey game. Some great moments for Maple Leaf fans, to say the very least. Welcome to the post-game show. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschuk from the Toronto Star, and Jimmy Ralph kind enough to hang around. And Ralphie, let's just go with the audio cue there. 60 goals, joins an elite club of guys that have done that twice in an NHL career and really battled on that play, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, it was, you look at all the opportunities he had against Washington, and you're going, you feel sorry for the guys coming up, because you know when Matthews starts to do that and they don't go, eventually once you break the seal, you start to see them go in bunches for Austin Matthews. But one of the things that I found interesting, there is so few times that you see Austin Matthews celebrate goals. I mean, with any kind of real emotion. As Joe, brought up in the broadcast, he seems to celebrate more for other guys scoring than he does for himself. But obviously, his reaction to scoring that meant something to him.
Ralphie, you can understand why. I mean, you talk about the list of players who've scored 60 goals more than once. 8 other players. I don't even need to go through the list. I just suffice to say it starts at Wayne Gretzky, ends up at Steve Yzerman. All 8 are in the Hall of Fame. None of them are obviously active. He's the only active player to have done this. I mean, it's hard to put a real button on exactly how significant this accomplishment is, but it's awfully impressive.
Yeah, especially when he has a 40-goal season in between, and you say, boy, he had an off year.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is amazing, going through. You just assume with all the 50-goal seasons that Alex Ovechkin hit 60 a couple of times or 3 times, but that was only once for Ovechkin in his career. So, here's a guy that's going to be with most likely the greatest goal scorer of all time by the time he retires, and Austin Matthews has already done something that he hasn't.
Very impressive. An entertaining hockey game. Let's go right to the goaltending. Sammy was superb, 34 saves for the shutout, had 16 in the third period. And boy, did this guy, he was in sync with that puck, wasn't he?
Yeah, and you know what? These are Johnny Bauer, Mike Palmateer highlights. This was diving and flailing away and throwing your arm up. And, I thought, to this point, that is the most impressive game of the season was that 1-0 win at home in overtime against Winnipeg. Remember, he stopped the 2-0 in the second period, and he was brilliant. But I think what it's really done is you say, okay, even if they split, from now to the end of the regular season, who's starting game 1. And I think that's, part of it's the reward for Samsonov to battle back. And, when it looked like his career might have been done in January. You thought this guy might be the next Jack Campbell or Cal Peterson or guys that, have lost it and just unable to get it back. And we can go through a lot of broadcasters. I know we don't have time. but it's, to me, that's the impressive part is where he's come from. And you give the Leafs credit for not giving up on him and not sending him down or waving him. And, maybe it was because at the time Joseph Wall was hurt and you simply needed Samsonov to be around. But I tell you, that is so impressive to go from where he was, back in December, January, even in his last game in Buffalo, was part of that horrible time. He gave up 5 goals, didn't last till the midway mark of the second period. And then he had the Columbus games where he was horrible. To be able to find yourself and get back to a level where, to me, he's better than he was any time last year. The way things have gone now for him.
Just let me cut in for a minute, Dave. I know you wanted to ask him, but you talked about that Buffalo game the last time he was there. That was a guy who was absolutely lost, and the guy we saw tonight was absolutely dialed in. You couldn't be any more dialed in than he was tonight.
No, and the thing is, they weren't one-offs. Tonight wasn't. Boy, one good game out of 6 or 7, and that wasn't one bad game out of 6 or 7. They were full-blown streaks. Whether you want to call it a hot streak or a cold streak. But yeah, to be able to battle back, I think there were some things from a Leaf standpoint that Sheldon Keefe is going to want to be cleaned up. There are a couple of times, they have that tendency to try to make a 2-foot pass in their own zone rather than just flip it out, and that almost cost them. But I thought for the most part, you give the forwards a lot of credit in this one as well. For there were a lot of rushes that Buffalo had, odd man rushes, and Leaf forwards were the ones that were back to break up the play. So I thought that was one of the things that stood out for me. And as I know we talk about Samsonov, we talk about Bertuzzi and Max Domi being much better in the second half. And I know you and Dave talked about it. But Ryan Reeves is another guy with limited minutes. It's just noticeable, him being on the ice. And it's not the fighting. It's not the big checks. It's coming back. He was one of the players that got back on the back check. I think it was in the opening period and made a great play. And the fourth line now seems to be spending more of their time in the offensive zone.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Ralphie. I mean, speaking of the good news, bad news kind of storylines here, I mean, obviously great news that Samsonov is absolutely dialed in. Great news that he was a big part of the penalty kill, having its best night of the season, statistically going 6 for 6. Most power play opportunities they've given up, and obviously the most kills they've had all season in one particular game. What did you make, though, of some of the brain cramp penalties? The 2 puck over glasses, offensive zone penalty by Connor Dewar. Not ideal. I'm sure Sheldon Keefe wasn't going to be patting anybody on the back over some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's again, that's whether you want to call it discipline or not. I mean, the thing is that what's funny about that delay of game rule is it was brought in. I think it was Jerry Cheevers was the reason. Remember, it used to be only if the goalie shot it over the glass. It was a delay of game penalty.
Right.
And if it was deemed that you were trying to get a stoppage and play, it was more of a judgment call. And then eventually, players got into it and said, boy, what a better way to take the heat out, flip it over. And then they bring the rule in because they wanted to stop guys from deliberately doing it. Well, now nobody deliberately does it. But, boy, do we see a lot of them still in guys trying to make those cute plays along the boards. And I think that's also why you see a lot of times in the penalty kill, guys unable to get it out because you're already down a man. And it's like, I don't want to be cute up the boards because if we do it again or we take another penalty, now we're down 5-on-3. So it's an interesting rule that's had a lot of repercussions in the way teams kill penalties as well.
Well, let's go to the fracas at the end of the game. And I'm going to throw this at you. Agree or disagree, or yes guy or no guy, if you will. Going back to the Morgan Riley suspension, that was the first outward sign for me that they could rally around their teammates. And this was supportive tonight as well. This is a different look for this team, isn't it?
Yeah, and, we're going to see whether that's going to make a difference in the playoffs or not. But instead of saying, we got Luke Shen, we got Luke Shen where, we got some toughness in there. And I mean, that goes, up and down through the lineup. And, Bertuzzi was on the ice causing a lot of it, going after Darlene, who had the hit on Brody. He plays with kind of that Darcy Tucker edge. Max Domi isn't quite Ty, but he's still got that bristled approach to the game. And then, you can go through Ryan Reeves, but the combinations that you would be able to come up with on the back end from Edmondson to Simon Benoit, Ilya Labushkin, Jake McCabe had a couple of big hits tonight, although he was guilty on some odd man rushes back the other way. But now all of a sudden you've got more than just one guy that you might have to look out of the corner of your eye in a scrum or coming with your head down through the middle of the ice. And like we said, we're going to see if that translates into more success in the postseason. But, heading in, I think you certainly love the fact that you have that option.
Before the game, Ralphie, we heard Sheldon Keefe talking about the third line of Holmberg, Nyes, and Robertson, and essentially saying that he doesn't see a future for those guys once things get back to normal as a group. And they go out and say, hey, you know what, we can turn the puck over our share for sure, but we can also score. And Nick Robertson buried his third goal in the past 8 games since he's been reinvited into the lineup. What do you make of Robertson and that line in general, and where they might fit in when the playoff game 1 lineup is solidified?
Well, I mean, the irony with the goal they scored, they had 3 or 4 times they kept overskating the puck or passing it away or off a skate and couldn't get it out. And you're thinking, boy, this is a disaster. And they got the long change. If they ice it, they're going to be. And the next thing they score on a 2-on-1. And, Joe and I were joking during the commercial break that maybe the coaches just say, let's just not say anything. Don't say good goal. Don't say you screwed it up. Let's just call it even. Because if Sheldon Keefe was writing his speech, it changed dramatically when Nick Robertson put it in. But again, and I know we've had this conversation, that if you sit down and you start going through, assuming everybody's healthy and ready to go by the time the playoffs start, you have a tough time keeping that line together. And it's not that they're not capable players, but if you get Yarncroc back, you get Marner back, that changes. That's huge as far as what the line combinations are going to be. And I think right now you probably look at the fourth line as saying, you're pretty comfortable with this going into the playoffs right now. So that leaves, 2 guys in and 2 guys out. And, the 2 guys out might just be on the third line. Although I think you might see Pontus Holmberg hold on to the center spot. But, it might be the outside that gets mixed up a little bit, although I can't see taking Nyes out of the lineup. But again, that's one of those nice problems to have.
Ralphie, as you know, 9 games left. The next 2 are against Florida and Tampa, and the final 2 are against Florida and Tampa on the road. Does wins over Washington and Buffalo and the manner that they were recorded make you feel better about the playoffs?
No, I mean, it's going to be interesting because they've got, not only the Tampa-Florida games coming up, but 2 more near the end of the schedule in Tampa and Florida as well. So the Leafs are really, they're going to be interesting games to watch because they do have implications where, let's say the Leafs beat, Florida in both games. Well, that might ensure you get Florida in the first round. You lose both, it might ensure you get Boston. Oh, but if you lose both and lose to Tampa, then you might find yourself in a wild card and get either Florida, Boston, or the Rangers. So, there are so many implications involved in those games that you're going to feel like it's a little bit of a preview, a little bit of a tune-up for the first round. You just don't know which one of your bingo numbers are going to get called.
When you think about that, Ralphie, obviously it's an absolute coin flip in terms of who it might be for the Maple Leafs as they come into the final 9 games of the season. Tampa's still on their heels and could upturn the apple cart if they could stay hot and the Leafs, fall off a little bit here. And obviously, if the Leafs surge, it's going to depend on which of Florida and Boston comes out on top in the race to win the Atlantic. But do you have a preference? Do you think there's a better matchup among that group, or how do you see it?
Well, you know what I think, David, and like I said, we can all guess and make predictions and everything else. No matter who the Leafs play in the first round, they're going to be the underdogs. They're going to open on the road for the first time in the playoffs under Sheldon Keefe. And it's going to be Florida. They lost to them last year. It's going to be Boston. They've never beaten Boston. And everything's going to be brought up and regurgitated again. And I like that from a Leafs standpoint. You're going to open on the road. And by the way, I think that's the 22nd road win, if I'm not mistaken, which is one short of the franchise record. 23, and that we haven't really given that a lot of play because they've won 23, I think twice in the last 4 or 5 years, but they've capped out at that. So I don't think you worry at all about this team starting on the road. And even with Ilya Samsonov, as great as his numbers were last year, most of that was built on home ice. Like Samsonov was brilliant at home. And this year, I think he's been as good, if not better, on the road, in a lot of the starts that he's had. So I think there's, as far as the preference, it doesn't matter. You're going to be the underdog. People are going to keep talking to you about you can't beat this team. You're not as tough as the other team. They went to the finals. This team has won cups. And I think it's better for this group. I think it's better for them to be in that position than this is our year. We've got home ice. We've, because we know that that hasn't really worked.
Ralphie, thanks for hanging around. Appreciate it.
All right. Great as always, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. Happy Easter. Well, he stiffed me. Okay. Anyway, 3-0.
Happy Easter, Jim. Happy Easter.
3-0. The Leafs win over the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be back with more. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sandra and Kabir are celebrating 50 years of marriage by turning their boring bedroom into a spicy one. Oh, my. Alpine Credit sent a super strength hero to help with a home renovation loan. New floors, windows, a heart-shaped button that plays this tune. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Fiscal license 12616.
For juicy turkey, head to Farm Boy. Premium Farm Boy fresh turkey from the Hayter Farm in Dashwood, Ontario is grain-fed for unbeatable taste. Because it's fresh, there's no moisture robbing thine, so your turkey is guaranteed naturally moist and tender. For delicious Easter ham, pick up a fully cooked Farm Boy bone-in Ontario ham, slow smoked over real hardwood in Dundas, Ontario, for succulent texture and distinctively sweet flavor. When quality counts, count on Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
Leafs game night. Leafs win 3-0 in Buffalo. So 5-1 over Washington Thursday, 3-0 tonight in Buffalo. Next stop, and we'll have it for you on TSN 1050 Monday night at home to Florida. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschuk with you from the Toronto Star. So, Dave, I'm almost there. I'm looking at the rest of the season, and Monday and Wednesday at home to Florida and Tampa. Then we've got Montreal, Pittsburgh, Jersey twice, Detroit, and then in Florida and in Tampa. And so the 9 games, the 4 that I've got circled. And I don't know what those games will mean. They're going to be interesting games in a lot of respects. But I'm almost there where I could not predict what the Leafs are going to do, but give my assessment of this team. Not quite there yet, but almost. How about you?
Well, yeah, for sure. We're at that point in the year, right, where we've got a little less than 3 weeks to go, 9 games on the slate. As you point out, 4 games against division rivals down in Florida, the Panthers and the Lightning. And, it should be really interesting here down the stretch. It's, they're pretty much solidified in their playoff position, but exactly who they'll play, exactly how it'll all go down in the first round has yet to be determined. I liked what Ralphie said. To me, this team is well served to be the underdogs. And I think no matter what happens in these final 9 games, they are going to be the underdogs in round 1. And that's not a bad thing. Like, the idea that people may not believe in this team, that they've maybe be written off because the Panthers are defending finalists of this league, and the Bruins are a team that has historically had their number, whatever it may be. They've played well when they've been written off. They in fact have played some of their best hockey when people have given up on them historically in the Matthews-Marner era. So maybe it will serve them well to come in as underdogs. Whatever happens from here on out, we do know they're going to be well prepared because these are nice playoff tune-ups. The 2 against Florida, the 2 against Tampa. It's a perfect prelude to the games that are going to mean everything once the postseason begins.
I'll tell you what I'm willing to do, and probably will hold myself to it, is I'm not really going to refer to the history lesson for this team this year because I think this team is different than those other versions. How about you?
Well, look, you can't ignore the history of the core 4, the group that has been kept together, the group that has been essentially doubled down on, tripled down on by Brendan Shanahan and Kyle Dubas before he was replaced by Brad Treliving. I agree with you, though, that it is a different look. It does have a different feel to it, like every team does. Every new team, every new edition of this team has been slightly different. And this one, maybe a little more different than any of the ones that have come before it. And maybe even tonight was a good example of that. I thought you made a good point with Ralphie about how, that fracas in the third period, it wasn't just one guy, as Ralphie said. It wasn't just Luke Shen being the tough guy. There was, what does that stuff mean? I don't know. But there was pushback there. And I think that's important. This team has more pushback throughout the lineup than maybe any Maple Leafs team we've seen in these past 8 seasons. And I do think that separates them in some ways, to your point. You can't ignore the history, in my view, but I do think you can separate yourself from it if you carve out a new identity.
Well, and the quick line would be more of a team, but